All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox on the Iconic Video Games channel. I am your host, Axel1324.
And I'm CoolCatTerri.
I'm DREADPOOL.
All right, and it is Sunday, the 25th. But guys, we had an awesome week last week. DREADPOOL, I know you probably had an awesome Sunday last week because it was Father's Day. What did you get? How did you guys celebrate?
Well, I got some socks, the typical stuff.
Nice.
Got some figurines. You should have told me this. I would have brought them over here. Got some these collectible little boxed figurines from Marvel. Just assorted stuff. But there's like a set, so I almost got all but two. There's a special edition ones that are part of that set, and I got one of them. One of them's Thor. Okay. And what else did I get? I got another little trinket Star Wars thing that Tiny Giant got me, and a little handwritten card. So that's really it. And then I cooked.
And then you cooked, because of course.
And then I cooked. Yeah,
that's right. But other than Father's Day, it's been a whole week. What have you guys been playing? Terry, what have you been playing all week?
Yeah, I've actually been playing Way of the Hunter. It's a hunting sim. Yeah. And I've been really enjoying that. I actually stopped playing Diablo to play the hunting sim because I've just been having more fun just kind of zoning out and doing my own thing than having to do Diablo. So part of that though is one of our members of our group hasn't been around, so it's like we don't want to progress and then have him get caught up. So we're like, screw it, we're not playing the game anymore until he gets back.
Awesome. Okay, well, hey, whatever makes it fun. DREADPOOL, what have you been playing?
Anybody want to take a guess? It's gonna be Dead Island 2. So Death Dealer and I were playing yesterday and streaming. So got further along, and then once we stopped, she took off, run some errands. I jumped back on and played some more and got some cool weapons.
Nice. So, is she jealous now?
Yeah. I kind of told her about it, but she's been too busy with other things. I don't think she realized what I was saying.
Okay, all right. Then we'll throw you under the bus.
I talk, she doesn't listen. She talks, I don't listen. You know how that goes.
I don't know. My wife says I do that all the time, but I'm just like, I don't do that. I listen to you all the time. And then they do, what did I just say? And I go, something about something.
Hey, there's a difference between listening and retaining the information. You just got to, listening is just hearing.
That's right.
I heard what you
I'm
said.
Just not retaining anything of it.
It just.
I heard words. I just don't remember the words.
Oh, and in one ear, out the other, right?
I mean, there's been times I've been talking, and the response back to me went in and didn't calculate right, and I'm like, what the? It didn't even sound like English at all. It didn't sound like anything. It was just like gibberish, and it's what? She looks at me and she's like, you don't understand what I just said? I'm like, no, none of it made sense. What didn't make sense?
If I was Death Dealer, I would just mess with that for life now and like blah 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 potato hot dogs. Just to mess with you. Now this week I have been playing a lot of Diablo and a lot of Tears of the Kingdom still, and I go back and forth between the two because they're two different types of games, but I got to tell you, I like Tears of the Kingdom more. There's just so much more to discover. Like Diablo, I know what the point of Diablo is. I know what it's. I've played it, and it is Diablo. It's a dungeon crawler, right? And don't get me wrong, Diablo 4 to me is way, way better than Diablo 3 as far as storytelling is concerned, right? And the only thing I hate about Diablo 4 is that if you're a melee character, you're kind of screwed. It is not made for melee. Like those bosses have so much like AoE around them. You can't get any hits off. So that's the one thing that bothers me about Diablo 4 is the survivability is so bad if you're not ranged. So, and Tears of the Kingdom is just amazing. I just found out something interesting on Tears of the Kingdom. Spoiler, I guess. But it's been out over a month. I think I can say that. I think everybody knows now that there's an underworld in Tears of the Kingdom.
I don't hear nothing.
There's an underworld in Tears of the Kingdom, and they have these things called light roots. And I found out the other day, just through flipping on the map, that the light roots are exactly where the shrines are on the other side of the map. So if I find a light root and I haven't found its corresponding shrine on the regular world, I'll go and look for it, or vice versa. I'm like, okay, there's a shrine here. That means there must be a light root down there. And how I know I found the right light root or the correct shrine is that their names are backwards of each other. So, they're, what's it called when something is spelled forward and backwards, but not meaning the same thing? Whatever. That's what I mean. Instead of saying Xbox, it will say Zops Shrine or whatever, right? So it's really cool. I really like it. I'm really enjoying Tears of the Kingdom. It has like so many little details. It's so good. It's so good. Starfield has its work cut out for it because I don't know if it can beat it. It's so good. But anyways, let's check in with the chat because, the iconic chat is what makes these show go. Shout out to Doggy Dog 420 coming in saying, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Doggy Dog. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP and a fellow Pella member on the Iconic Video Games Podcast who was there for the craziness this weekend. Friday was phenomenal. Poor Doggy. It's so funny, Doggy is over there. He was laughing so hard. He held his drink, like I'm just going to mimic Doggy. I don't know if you noticed this, Doggy. You held your drink to your mouth like this for like a good 1 or 2 minutes because you couldn't drink it. You were just laughing, holding your drink like this. It was great. It was great. Let's see. Fastback. Shout out to Fastback. Thank you for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Fastback. We appreciate you. Black Card. Black Carde? I don't know how to read that. Anyways, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. We got Crazy Simmons Gaming TV. Good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Crazy Simmons Gaming TV. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Graphic God. Shout out to Graphic God. He says, good morning, Xbox family. See what I did there? Yes, I see what you did. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you, Graphic God. You are the real MVP. And yeah. And Crazy Simmons TV says that he is playing Ghostwire Tokyo. Hey, that's good. Let us know what you think. We love to hear. Cheo Walker says playing Diablo 4 right now. Shout out to Cheo Walker. Good morning. Appreciate you being here. You are the real MVP. And I think that is it. But let's get the news started. We're going to start off the news with something a little upsetting. And that is price hikes. I hate paying more for stuff. I don't care how good it is. I hate paying for it. I hate paying what I already paid for it. So the fact that they're increasing it and making it harder for new people to jump in makes me upset. Anyways, The Verge reported, we're going to stick to The Verge today, guys. They're going to be our primary news source this week. He's saying the Microsoft is hiking the price of Xbox Series X and Xbox Game Pass. And this is according to Kari Perez, head of communications for Xbox. So there you go. That's how it is. So it says here, Microsoft is increasing prices in all countries except for the US, Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. So sorry if you're in the UK. Sorry if you're in Canada. Sorry if you're in Mexico. And sorry if you're in Korea, I guess. And any other country, sorry. The Xbox maker is also increasing the monthly price of Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate for the first time next month, and that's everywhere, not just there, right? That's everywhere, so that hits us too. So it will move up $2 for regular Game Pass here. And the Xbox Series consoles are going to go up by $50. So Xbox Series X is moving up from $479.99 in the UK to $549. Holy cow. That is, what is that? That is 70 euros? 60, it's going up $649.99 Canadian, $7.99 Australian. Wow. But Xbox Series X pricing will not be adjusted in any markets. That's good.
That's because they're phasing it out.
Yeah, I hope they do. The Series S is amazing. Nothing against the Series S console. One of my good friends has it. It's just, I guess everybody who wanted a Series S got it, and now it's time to get the Series X.
Well, you got the new Series
the new one,
Carbon.
Yeah. They have the new one.
They're trying to phase out the white one.
$100 higher at $349.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're trying to phase out the white one to get the black one in.
Yes. And then Game Pass Ultimate will move from $14.99 a month to $16.99, so up $2 on Game Pass. And yeah, they won't go into effect until August 13 or September 13 in Germany. But new Game Pass subscribers will see the new prices immediately. But if you're an existing Game Pass subscriber, you get some grace period there to extend your Game Pass subscription. And of course, all this is just following trends. Let's start with Xbox Game Pass. Game Pass to me is more impactful than the console, as all of us already have the consoles right now. But let's talk about Game Pass. Game Pass came out at debuted at $9.99 in 2017. Is that right? Yeah, let me look it up. When did Game Pass launch? Game Pass launched. Let's see. Yep, June 1st, 2017. So we have enjoyed 8 years of $9.99 Game Pass or $14.99 for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Terry, was the price hike imminent? And is $2 gonna? Does it upset you?
Okay, no, it doesn't upset me. We already knew that they were going to raise the prices eventually, so this wasn't like a big shock. As long as you're not living under a rock, you knew this was coming. So it doesn't bother me. And the $2, it still doesn't bother me, because when you look at the scope for the year, as long as you get, what was it, like 2 major games on Game Pass, it pays for itself anyway. So it's $2. It's still not going to, change that. I'm still going to get plenty of games that I'm going to play on it and enjoy, and I'll still end up making savings. So it's good still. Sorry,
but DREADPOOL's right. My math isn't mathing. It means 6 years.
That's why I was like, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, sorry. 6 years. 6 years of Xbox Game Pass. Sorry about that. My math ain't mathing right now.
We're working on 7 now.
That's right. 6 years, working on 7. $2 price hike. But that adds up. Before you could easily do the math, it would be $120 for Xbox Game Pass for a year. And you would say, that's that. If you bought 3 games, you paid for it, more than paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they raised it up to $142. DREADPOOL, check my math. $142 a year, and that actually makes it that 3 games does not pay for it, because at $70. 2 games pay for it again at $70. So you're still getting a pretty good deal. All you do is got to play 2 AAA games, and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
But Ultimate is really where it is for me. Are you an Ultimate subscriber, Terry?
Yes, I am an Ultimate subscriber.
And so Ultimate was $180. Now it's going to be what is it, $17, right?
Yeah.
Now it's going to be $204 a year. Does that hit you harder? Because Ultimate was always a harder hit.
No, because I would have spent more than that anyway buying all the games. So like I said, it doesn't bother me because I'll take advantage of it. There's always more than 3 games that are big hitters that I'm going to want to play anyway, plus all the indies that I play. I'm getting my value out of it. So it doesn't bother me. And my husband and I, we share, so he gets Game Pass off of me. So we're good as long as they allow us to still just do one and done on Game Pass. That works for us. If I had to buy it twice, that would be a different story.
That's right. Terry's waiting for that family plan. All right. DREADPOOL Game Pass, $16.99, $17. How does that hit you? And chat also, let us know how that hits you. What you think? DREADPOOL's against it.
Yeah, of course I'm against it. I mean, I understand their theory, their marketing, that they got to make more money. I understand that they haven't raised prices because of inflation. I get that, but obviously anything that I can save a buck on is better off, because then that means I can spend money elsewhere. I can buy more stuff that I want. So again, it's that was the whole premise of Game Pass was I'm actually buying other games that I want. I can afford to buy the highest tier version of the games that I want, or if I choose to or not to. So it lets me have a little bit more play with my spending money. So losing that, yeah, that's a big deal. I understand that we can't get what we want all the times. It is what it is. And I mean, all we can do is speak up against it. Just saying, okay, well, it's been so long, we should do that. I mean, we've been doing that since the Super Nintendo days. $40 for a game isn't so bad. I guess we can do $50 on these next cartridges, because it's a cartridge, we can afford to justify this. No, things needs to be priced reasonably. And I understand a dollar or $2 being raised is reasonable for inflation, but at the same time, I'm not going to lobby for it. I'm going to lobby against it as much as possible. I'm still going to be an Xbox Game Pass supporter, even if it, with Ultimate being $2 more. It still is the best bang for my buck, but I'm not going to just sit there and roll over and be like, yeah, sure, no problem. What did Netflix do? 2 months, 3 months later, raise the price again. So because people were saying, yeah, well, no problem, I still have Netflix, I'll still support it. What's going to happen? We don't want them doing this. They're obviously not the same company that they used to be, but if it was 1990s, I see it happening. So luckily it's not the 1990s. They are more in good faith and more for gamers per se, but there's a time and a place, and we shouldn't just roll over and accept everything, even though it's low, because it's still a lot of money for some people. At the same time, you go to certain places, you go online and you buy the discounted stuff. You got to be a smart shopper. So it doesn't matter if they raise it, we can still find deals. I still find deals at places like Sam's Club. I try to get the cheaper points, the cheaper cards, just for this matter. So it takes away from what I'm putting into it, but it is what it is. But I'm not going to just sit there and blindly say, yeah, let's do this. Let's pay more money. I'm not paying more money, right? We all have issues when we pay more for gas, when it's the same gas that was in at the gas station. Nothing happened, nothing changed, but the price of the value of oil went up, and now gas is going up, and it's like it's the same stuff that you just paid for already ahead of time. So now you're going to charge me more, and then as the prices go down, you gradually drop it down. Makes no sense. So same scenario here. Prices are never going to go down, and hiking, I see is kind of misleading. They're raising the prices. So again, let's call it clickbait, because that's what it is. You got people to click. Doesn't mean it's negative. They
and
did
if you notice, I
fulfill
don't know
with
if
the
you guys can see
information.
the thumbs down. 3 times more thumbs down than thumbs up. So nobody's liking the
Well,
price hike.
again, we don't know what they're liking and disliking. They may be liking the article and they may be disliking the price hike. So they could still be on the same fence. It's just you don't realize which what they're talking about. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Game Pass going up, as much as it was expected, I'm sad about it. As a day one, like I subscribed to Game Pass, immediately converted my gold over to Ultimate, and have not lapsed in years. And of course, I always stock up. When I try to find it, 25% off, 40% off. I think one year I found it 50% off. And I always stack up as many years as I can. So while my subscription might not expire until this year, because I haven't re-upped in a while, I'm gonna have to consider buying all like 3 years worth of codes and just throw them on there.
End of the month, you better stock up now.
Yeah, got 1 month to expand, so hopefully I can find some good prices as I always do. But I don't like, everything has moved over to subscription. All content has moved over to subscription. Movies, music, TV, YouTube. Everybody's the word is subscriptions now. It's the latest and greatest term on how to nickel and dime consumers. And Game Pass was one of those things where, like, I always have something to play. I'm always happy about it. And I always brag about what a good deal it is. No matter what, it's a good deal. No matter which way you slice it. Even at what is it, $17 a month for Ultimate. Where is it at? Is that what it is? $17 a month in Ultimate? Yeah, $17 a month in Ultimate. It's still a good price. And it's still worth it because I play, like Terry, I play a lot more than 3 games, a lot more than 2 games, a lot more than 3 games on Game Pass. And I'm with DREADPOOL. All Game Pass did was enable me to buy more collector's edition games. Because I didn't have to buy every game individually. I saved money, and I was like, well, where's that money going to go? Well, it went into collector's editions. It went into buying my PS5. It went into buying other gaming-related things, collector's controllers, Starfield Collector's Edition, all that good stuff. Before that, it was Gotham Knights Collector's Edition. And I love collector's editions. But before that, I would buy the base game because I always knew that there would always be another game and another game and another game, and I had to structure my budget. So them taking $24 away from my budget, will it affect me a lot? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to go with a maybe not route, but it just kind of sucks because my whole justification for being a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber is now I get to buy collector's editions, and I love being a collector. That was my whole justification. Other than, Game Pass is amazing. But, I mean, I was going to play those games no matter what. But them being on Game Pass just enabled it even more. So the Game Pass price hike is expected, I guess. Some people say it was due. I don't think it's ever due. Microsoft is obviously making money off of it. I don't know why they needed to price hike it. Like the price of a Microsoft Office home and student or whatever it is has stayed at $100 for a decade. They didn't raise that, but they raised the price of Game Pass. So kind of upset. Nickel and diming me, Xbox. You're killing me. You're killing me. But, at the same time, thanks for the value. Let's check in with the chat. Let's see. Graphic God says, blame Canada for the price hikes. Dang you, Canadians. Let's see. Fastback says, I wish I was home gaming while listening, but here at work. Hey, well, I'm glad you're listening to us while you're at work. We appreciate you, Fastback. Phil warned this would happen last holiday. No surprise. Yeah. And Fastback is not worried about $2 at all. And Graphic God says that he has Game Pass for 2 more years. Time to re-up. Get that 3rd year on there.
Yeah, get loaded up.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to The original Next Level Gaming, Mike Mullis, saying, good morning, Xbox. Good morning, Mike Mullis. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And for retweeting. I did see that you retweeted us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And yeah, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this show out. The more likes you give the show, the better it is for us to get discovered, especially on the YouTube algorithm. So help us out, guys. Share it out. We really appreciate it. Lost Boomer goes, boo, boo, Lost Boomer. Lost Boomer. Yeah, you see what I did there? Shout out to Lost Boomer for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's see. And when my math wasn't mathing fastback, Axel must be an engineer. Yeah. Funny story here on it. Somebody did a conversion from metric to inches wrong, and we all assumed it was right. The dude was off by 3 inches on his conversion. So yeah, engineers make mistakes. We do make mistakes. Be sure to check our work. Yeah. Let's see. Fastback says that Game Pass is still the best value for me and me. This doesn't change the value.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's still the best value.
It just lowers it by $2.
That's right. But it's gonna be tough for me to preach from the mountaintop without my $2 for water bottles now, you know. Let's see. And Lost Boomer says he's still on his 3-year gold upgrade, not starting to pay for it properly yet. My son gets it too. Yeah, a lot of us started on that 3-year gold upgrade. That ended for me 3 years ago, because Xbox has been around for 6 years, or Game Pass has. So yeah, I am on the regular now. Fastback says, I blame FTC, CMA, making Microsoft spend more money on lawyers finding farce regulators. Waste of taxpayer money. I agree.
Well, I let me interject on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the thing is they even said that ABK is not the reason why they're going to raise the prices. They were going to keep the same prices. So this is kind of a jump ahead of the gun before anybody tries to connect the dots and saying that these two, because they were going to raise them anyway. They already said they were. So they just did it ahead of time. So this way there is no, conspiracy theory of ABK and this and that. So this gets that part of it out of the talking topic out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Agree. And also, I think the big reason they're raising the price at this time is because Starfield is coming around the corner. And maybe they saw the excitement for Starfield and the pre-orders and the pre-downloads, because you can pre-download Starfield right now.
Yep.
So maybe they saw how many people are going to pre-download Starfield, and they just raised the price. I mean, Nintendo did the same with Tears of the Kingdom. Every Nintendo game was $60 until Tears of the Kingdom came out at $70.
Yeah, and if you look at the interviews that they've had with Phil and Matt Booty, they were talking about now, 2022 was a bust.
Mm-hmm.
From here on out, they got all those studios lined up and they're starting to push out. So I think that's part of it too, is now that they're actually going to have quality games coming out, that they're incentivizing to be quality, not having as many issues. So now it's okay. Well, now that if we have this rating now, people will be used to this price by the time that these other games start rolling out quarterly, monthly, whatever they have for Game Pass. So it'll be easier of a pill to swallow because you're already there and you won't even notice it. And when those people that haven't been a part of it see those games that they're coming out with, they will be more willing to go ahead and spend it, because now they can justify the extra $2 because they won't even realize that it was cheaper before. They didn't care before. Now they do care, and they're just going to get more money.
Yeah.
So,
and the timing, it's all about the timing right now. And I think Starfield is really the crux of this all. Just because it's coming out, it's so huge, and it's the best time, in my opinion. It's the correct time to do this before it comes out. Prep everybody. Everybody's still on the Starfield hype. They just had the E3 of the decade, right? As DREADPOOL said, people can see these games coming out. And, if Starfield takes Game of the Year, oh man, I would shout that from the rooftops if I was Xbox. Play the Game of the Year on Game Pass. Game Pass, Game of the Year content. I would start having a game of the year section, Fallout, Skyrim, whatever else they get over there that's game of the year, like just to show you that the good games are on Game Pass. So yeah, hopefully Starfield. I'm really rooting for Starfield. I'm just that Zelda game. Shout out to Stuff Gaming. He joins us. Thank you so much, Stuff Gaming. You are the real MVP. And let's see. What else do we got? Hide. There we go. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up. You guys are chatting a lot. I totally lost my spot. Wow, you guys are really busy in the chat. Wow. Okay, let's move it along then. Shout out to Happy Cloud Gamer. Thank you so much for joining us, Happy Cloud Gamer. We appreciate it. He says he was listening on the FTC court hearing. FTC lawyers did help Microsoft more, and Stadia person was smoking something, and FTC was looking like clowns. 4 hours of fun times. We'll talk about the Phil Spencer versus FTC later on today in the show. And shout out to Eternal Shaddai coming in. Thank you so much, Eternal Shaddai. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. He comes in. Let's see. Food, gas, and things we have gone up, but console subscription price hikes are things we want. It's consumer choice. Yeah, I need food. I need gas. I need this. This is entertainment. I don't need it. And that's why the price hike is so... Like, if I need to cut something out of my life, it's going to be something that I don't need. Like my $2 bottle of water. I'm not cutting that out. I need that.
Cut out that Starbucks.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And go to McDonald's and get a cheaper coffee.
McCafe.
There you go.
That's right. I go to my wife Louisa Bucks. She makes me my coffee. She makes awesome coffee. Let's see. Happy Cloud Gamers question: what will the family plan be? Yeah, it launched at $20. Now with the price hike, I wouldn't be surprised if it's $25 for 5 people. That's still a good deal. And Crazy Greek Dude says, yo, Crazy Greek Dude, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. And collective agree at $25. Yeah, I'm thinking $25 might be more appropriate for the family.
$5 a person. And then if you still can do your game sharing, that's $6 or 6 person. So it drops the price down.
That's right. Let's see. Is Starfield Early Access included in Game Pass Ultimate? No. You got to buy forget the collector, the second high tier edition to get 5 days early access.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are playing standard.
You could buy the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
but you could.
Was it $30 for the upgrade for the ultimate version of it?
Yeah. So that's what I did with Forza Horizon 5. I played Forza Horizon 5 on Game Pass. I don't own it, but I bought the collector's edition for $30 on the Microsoft Store, and I got Hot Wheels DLC, Rally DLC, the car pack. It's awesome.
Yeah, so you don't have to buy the full collector's edition. You just get the upgrade version, and you still get the base game for free through Game Pass, but you get the upgrade because of what you've paid for. So save money there. Yeah. It's a nice feature to have as an option.
That's right. And Stubbs Gaming, who doesn't pay for Game Pass, he says he wouldn't use it if he had to pay for it. Also says, I think it's worth $12.99 to be honest with this new. I don't think it's worth €12.99 euros to be honest with this new price. So hey, some people have their breaking points, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is an entertainment; it's not a necessity, and you pay what you will. It's up to them to attract you, not you to justify them. That's the way it is. All right, let's get to the way more negative one. The price of the Xbox Series X is going up to roughly $650 across the board. Unless you're in Australia, then you're $700. And let me see. In almost every market, except some of the strong markets, the competition markets, as I call them, where Xbox really wants to compete, they're not raising the price there. US, Japan, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. Xbox is very popular in Brazil. Xbox is obviously popular in the US. They are trying to make headway in Japan. I'm not sure about Chile and Colombia being super popular, but I'm surprised that the UK is not on this list, as I believe it's Xbox's second strongest market. Has the UK gone down in strength? That might be a
I don't
question
think
to
it's
ask Jez Gordon of Windows Central.
I don't think it's necessarily strength. It's also the fact of currency conversions, because even Canada is not on there, and they're hugely popular in Canada. So for them to do that, it sucks. It sucks for everybody. I know it doesn't suck for us, but it still sucks. I mean, you look at the pricing there. Whew.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep, man. It's too expensive to game these days. It's too expensive. I'd have to get into, I don't know, poker cards or something. Terry,
draw your own cards.
Yeah, drama. That's too expensive. That requires art skills and art equipment, and I don't have either. So, Terry, Xbox raising their prices in all these markets. Tell us your thoughts. Is it good for the brand? Bad for the brand? Good for consumers? Bad for consumers? So forth and so on.
Well, it's definitely not good for the consumer. No one wants to have to, spend an extra $50 or more depending on where you live to get this. So, I mean, hopefully, everybody who's wanted these consoles has been able to obtain one by now, because it's been a couple years. But for those that have still been waiting it out, you might want to, get on it and get it before the price increase goes through. But yeah, no, it's definitely not a good thing for consumers. It's good for the business because every company, when they sell their consoles, they sell them at a loss. So this helps them recoup some of that. But it's still not a nice thing to see. It's not. So yeah, I would say if you're someone who's been, because now they did announce they're not supporting the Xbox One anymore. So if you're someone who's still on the Xbox One and you've been looking, waiting to save up to make the switch, you better make the switch. Otherwise you're gonna have to save up that much little extra. So just try to get it now while you can.
Yeah. It's just no way, no. Dreadpool, hit us with some knowledge.
You got to figure the majority of the base of fans have already purchased a lot of this stuff. So the consoles, the controllers, everything, Game Pass, Gold. So the majority of us have it. It's all the people that haven't been able to get into it just yet because they're still holding on to the legacy hardware. It is legacy now, so it is what it is. But you better get it now, or you're going to pay a lot more money. PlayStation's doing it, so it's not just Xbox. Quest, the Meta Quest 2 also increased their prices. So it's going around. So you also got to remember there's manufacturing price increases that we have not had to pay for. There's many things from the pandemic that we haven't had to deal with monetarily as much, that they, as bigger corporations have taken a bite. And again, everybody that puts out a console is usually minimal when it comes to money, because they're trying to get it out to you. They're trying to make money on the back end through software. The only ones that make money is Nintendo. They will not lose money on a console. And you see how cheap Nintendo is. So, what do? They come up with another console which is the exact same thing. No upgrade, no nothing. All it is an OLED screen, and phasing the rest of it out. So again, it's one of those things that it's a business decision. You can't keep losing money. You got to make some sort of profit somewhere. And if you can cut some of the blood loss, even though you might still be losing some money, they're probably just trying to cut some of it off. Again, I don't agree with it, but you have to understand from the other perspective that it may be something of a necessity for them too, because they finally, they're not the only company doing it.
Yeah. So Xbox is the last of, Nintendo did some game pricing, but they haven't really raised the price of their console. They just came out with a new one and priced it where they wanted it. Xbox, they had to raise their price. And they're really just following the trend. PlayStation did it, Meta did it, Nintendo sort of did it with the new console, and Xbox sort of did it as well with the Series S Black. $100 more. And the Xbox Series X, well, that thing's a beast already. No, there's really not much you can do to it other than release special editions. But the base needed to go up, so they raised that price. And I feel bad because Xbox is in third place, and they really need to attract as many gamers as possible. But I guess when you're 3 years in the generation, you've kind of attracted the most that you're going to attract. The people that are going to rush out and buy your console from here on out. It's like the long fight begins of trying to get people to buy your console, convincing them with games. And that's where Xbox is going, I think. So the timing is fine, I guess. There's no good time to raise price, in my opinion. It's never a good time. Never. I can't think of a single time in my life where I've been like, oh, now's a good time to start paying more for video games. Never once in my life have I thought about that. Has that thought crossed my mind? So I think it sucks. I understand that it's the market we're in now. Everything is more expensive, and it's because of corporate greed. I get it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. I understand it, but I don't agree with it at all. Those manufacturers, they didn't need to raise the price of manufacturing. They just did because they could. Right.
Can I jump in on that one?
Yeah.
Because I was waiting to jump in on this. That's the other thing with manufacturing. When you first started, you have to develop the dies and everything to put together the console. Yeah. So that's your upfront cost that they have to pay for. After that, everything gets cheaper because now you're able to buy more quantities. You're able to buy, you're talking about pallets of devices to build a unit.
Mm-hmm.
So as time progresses, those devices become cheaper, which means your next console can be cheaper. Not your next console, but as time progresses, these consoles can become cheaper, and it gets passed on to the market.
Mm-hmm.
However, like you said, the manufacturers, if they're starting to jack up the prices, if the devices that they're buying, these little capacitors, resistors, all these pieces that they're buying are increasing in price. Again, like I said before, the pandemic, it's going to keep on increasing. And how much blood loss are you going to keep taking before you have to eventually give in and increase the price? So there's many facets on here. So it's not just greed from one company, it's multiple companies. And what are you going to do?
So, yeah. And all this is going to do is going to consolidate the market, the manufacturing market, as some manufacturers won't be able to manufacture because some of them, like computer goods, unless you have a contract like Xbox or Sony or Nintendo, you're kind of in a risky business of manufacturing for an entertainment sector that people will sacrifice for their needs. I'd sooner pay $2 for my bottle of water than I will for anything else, right? And I'm already starting to see it in my industry where some people, the cost of goods force them to raise their prices, and now they're going out of business because people won't buy it because it's not a necessity.
Well, here's a prime example. In my business, there's a chip maker that with a certain electronics board, let's say, they not only do they make the board, they were the exclusive ones of this chip that goes onto this board. During the pandemic, they shut down. That company is still around, but that manufacturing building is still out. So that piece of equipment that everybody's been back ordered for doesn't exist, and it will never come back. So they had to, within the company, start another manufacturing process for a completely different board to do a similar function as what these boards were doing. So again, and then the prices went up from what the last one was, so if you can't get certain things, you're out of luck, and prices are just going to start going up for other things. So it is what it is.
Yeah. We do a lot of service parts for our industry, and it's getting to that point where like you got to replace the whole thing because those service parts are no longer available. Nobody will make them. And nobody will make them in those small volumes anymore. It's all about big volume now.
And this was something that was industry used, widely used in the industry. It wasn't planned to be phased out. It just happened.
Yeah. All right. Interesting perspective. Sorry, we got off on a tangent there. Anyways, price increases suck, in my opinion, because there's never a good time to increase the price, in my opinion. Never. Let's see. Shout out to Your Wicked Hot. He joins us. Thank you so much, Your Wicked Hot. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. Price hike helps Microsoft reach a $4 billion per year. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Shout out to General Spartan. He joins us. Thank you so much, General Spartan. You are the real MVP. He says, I'm going to stock my Game Pass Ultimate sub on Thursday. Good idea. Let's see. And yeah, this is exactly our point, Stubbs Gaming. Xbox console prices going up doesn't bother me as I already have a Series X. It's not good for people picking one up. That's my point. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out to Fastback. He says, last gen we got mid-gen refreshes. This gen we get mid-gen price hikes. Yeah, well said, Fastback. That's great. And RWK88 joins us. Thank you so much, RWK88. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you. And John 079 says, finally wrap up this ABK deal and bring Activision games to Game Pass, then talk about price hikes. I think the better idea was to do the price hikes before the deal closed.
Yep. Because that would be like the next.
Yeah, that would be the next negative articles on every internet website ever. Yeah. And hey, Stubbs Gaming, we love you too. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And he also says, great people in the chat. Yeah, we do have an amazing chat. Cheo Walker says you also have to factor in the cost of shipping, tariffs from various countries, and labor, which pay should never be static. Yeah, you got to factor all that in, but you also got to remember people are being squeezed more and more, and money for entertainment is the first thing to go out. That's the movie industry, right? Let's see. Death Dealer says, hello, everybody. Hello, Death Dealer. Shout out to Death Dealer. You can catch her every Friday night on the Iconic Video Games Podcast with us. And she says, I miss only paying like $200 for a system. Jeez, that would be great. I can't even find used systems for $200 anymore. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. So I can't even find used systems for $200. And it's so funny. Like, I could find a Nintendo back in the day for like $20. Like an original NES. Now it's like, yeah, this NES is $200. It's like, no, it's used and it's yellow. Again,
it's the market. There's more people wanting the old consoles, more people reminiscing, more people wanting to go back to retro games. They don't want games as a service, so their fight is going back to retro. There's many reasons that people are going back to the old consoles, and being old and discarded. There's less of them out there that there ever was, and collectors are the only ones keeping them alive.
Yeah, that's right. You're welcome. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse Darby. He says, I've been here the whole time. I'm just watching on YouTube, and they don't let you on Xbox Message and chat. I was going to do something on my phone. I seen it coming. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, thank you so much, Jesse Darby, for being here. We appreciate you. We appreciate you lurking. And to everybody else who's lurking, you guys are all the real MVP. We appreciate you. Yes. And Terry, we had a poll.
All right. What do you think about the Xbox price increases? 53% say, I understand. 30% said, this is some BS. 15% says it doesn't affect me, and no one voted for that. Money means nothing. Money,
Good.
we all have things we got to pay for. So.
That's right. All right. Well, that was a good opening topic. I wanted to get that one out of the way as it was the negative topic of the day. There's nothing positive about price hikes, in my opinion. It sucks. They're part of life. If you're an adult, you've seen many of them. If you're a child, get ready. You know. All right. But let's get on to some good news. So, as you guys know, the FTC trial has provided us with some industry insights. And I'm going to change this layout to this way. And one of those industry insights is that Indiana Jones from Machine Games was stated to be a Xbox exclusive, or at least insinuated to be an Xbox exclusive. Let's see what it was really said. Is there a quote in here? I hope there's a quote. It doesn't seem to be a quote. Let's see. Pete Hines. Here we go. Pete Hines, head of Bethesda, head of global publishing, confirmed the exclusivity during the FTC versus Microsoft case today. There you go. Exclusive Indiana Jones. Exclusive.
Console exclusive.
That's right. Console exclusive.
Yeah.
That's right. And shout out to Mr. Kima. Good morning, Xbox fans. Good morning, Mr. Kima. We appreciate you. Terry, Indiana Jones, being confirmed for exclusive. This was one that I said, if you recall, that I didn't think it was going to be exclusive because it was the game started before the acquisition, and that it was just too big of a brand to keep exclusive. But I was wrong. Terry, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the original plan was it was going to be a multi-plat game. So now I guess that's not happening. So now you have to, either play within the Xbox ecosystem or on PC. So interesting development. I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be different perspectives on this when it comes to exclusivity. I'm someone who is not a fan of exclusivity. I understand why it exists and I get it, but from for a consumer as well as for someone who's attempting to make a game, a developer wants as many people as possible to play and enjoy their game. And when you make it exclusive, you have to make that deal that, I'm going to be intentionally keeping people away from my game just so I can get a big payout, up front. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like the game itself, it's something I want to play, and since it's going to be day one in Game Pass, I could try it out. I'm not an Indiana Jones fan by no means. I've seen some of the movies. I mean, they're all right. I'm not a fan of Harrison Ford, but it's whatever. I'll play it. Hopefully, the game ends up being a lot of fun, and for those of you who are real big in exclusivity, means everything to you, then this is a win for you, I guess. But yeah, no, I still think this is sad because there's a lot of people out there for a franchise like Indiana Jones. There's a lot of people out there that are going to want to play this that now they're going to have to choose. You're muted there, Axel.
Yeah, it's an interesting announcement and an interesting way to announce it. DREADPOOL, Indiana Jones, exclusive.
Yes. No. I actually thought it would be multiplat also, only for the fact of the way the IP usually is. Obviously, there was some. Initially, it was supposed to be a multiplat, but something happened with some talks, and for whatever reason, happened, it just changed. And I thought everybody said that making for multiple platforms makes it harder for the devs. So is this not the normal thing? Is this not the thing that most people wanted? Spider-Man. We got to keep that exclusive. So I think what's good for the goose is good for the gander here.
Yeah.
So it doesn't affect me other than the fact that I don't have to pay for it and it's day one in Game Pass. So
that's right.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Maybe that's where my $2 extra went to. I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I've always wanted to see other characters come in because we don't have the IP for those, but it'd be nice to see some Pitfall Harry, some Lara Croft, maybe some, do little cameos with this would be cool. But until those IPs are, I don't know, figured into all this, or vice versa, indie and one of their IPs, it would be cool. But yeah, this will be fun. I have a good feeling about this.
I read somewhere that the reason Indiana Jones is exclusive is because Sony was snagging up exclusivity from Disney. So
Yes.
I don't remember where I read it, but it was part of the FTC trial that this is basically a reaction from Microsoft to what PlayStation was doing. Because they got Spider-Man exclusive and they got Wolverine exclusive. And so, this is the industry, if you will, reacting. And that's why Indiana Jones is now going to be an Xbox exclusive. So good job, PlayStation. Thanks for bringing another exclusive to Xbox. We appreciate you.
Right. Isn't that the retaliation everybody wanted? Well, they got
right.
Spider-Man. We should get Wolverine. Now they got Wolverine. We should get the Punisher. We should get Spawn. We should get. Well, obviously they were looking at other items as opposed to, or other IPs as opposed to what we wanted, and I'm cool with it. As long they were looking at getting phased out of everything, so they had to do something.
Yeah. So I understand why it's exclusive. I get it that it's because if they didn't do it, somebody else would. That's what this industry has come to. If you don't pay me, somebody else will. If you don't want this epic game, somebody else will. There's always someone. Every developer is trying to get their game paid for, so they're all looking to take those exclusivity deals. Right? Not only, the publishers, the platform holders pay for development on your game, and all you got to do is work on list systems, make your work easier. Right? So the fact that the Indiana Jones going exclusive is not overly surprising. Machine Games, famous for Wolfenstein. I hope that this game is awesome. I hope they get the whip right. I swear if they don't, I am gonna trash this game till there's no tomorrow. This will be my Redfall if they don't get that whip right.
You heard it here first. Whip it good.
That's right. They got to get that whip right. Trust me. But Terry, Chair Walker says, not a fan of Harrison Ford. Okay, I must unsubscribe now. No, Chair Walker, don't do it. Terry's views are not expressive of this channel. What's that disclaimer? The views expressed are not represent. What is it? The disclaimer?
The views expressed by this person are not
Yeah, it's called the views
of the company. Disclaimer. Yeah.
Let me see. All views expressed on this site are my own and do not represent the opinions of any entity whatsoever which I have been, am now, or will be affiliated. So there you go. That's a great little disclaimer. Oh my God, that's great. I love the disclaimer. But yeah, no. Let's see. Microsoft, Xbox had to redo contract with LucasArts when ZeniMax was acquired. So being exclusive to Xbox, no big. Spider-Man Wolverine exclusive to PlayStation is what it is. Yeah. John 9079 says, shout out to John 9079. He says, Sony has enough exclusives, so why not? It's competition, and Xbox has to keep up with PlayStation third-party exclusives. Yeah. Agreed. Xbox trying to be superheroes? Maybe. I hope so. I think Indiana Jones should be Xbox exclusive. Anyway, not only, guess what? Your dream is coming true. It is an Xbox exclusive. But Terry, how does the chat feel about this Xbox exclusive?
All right. 58%. That's what I wanted. 25% were like, meh. And 16% feel bad that other gamers are going to miss out.
There you go. Oh, some people have hearts and souls around here. Not me, though. Screw them. I'm just kidding.
I do, man. Exclusivity does one thing, and that just encourages pettiness. Oh, they're doing it, so it's okay for me to do it. Two wrongs don't make it right. So it's like, oh well, they can be a-holes, so that means we can now justify us being a-holes. No,
Unfortunately,
I hate that mentality, and unfortunately, that's the way business is, because they're always looking at a way to try to one up each other. And like, I get competition to make your product better, I support that, but competition to where you just become more petty and greedy, I don't stand by that. And that's what exclusivity does. It makes you more greedy and more petty.
have you seen Serenity?
No.
Have you seen Firefly?
Yes.
Okay. If someone tries to kill you, you kill them first. Remember that. This is what's going on. Sony is trying to kill Xbox. Xbox is it unfortunately has to retaliate, because they were trying to build an exclusivity system around them to destroy them. So Xbox had to do something, and finally people have been asking for it. They've been asking for this, asking for that, and no signs of anything. But now we're finally seeing the fruition of they are trying to stay alive. So I don't think it's pettiness per se, but yes, corporations are very petty. I think this one here had to be petty because of the fact that they were trying to abolish them from any kind of life.
I mean, the competition has, there's one publisher out there, Square Enix, that just the competition has in their pocket. I mean, they might as well be owned by them, right? There's other games out there that are, the Spider-Man games, the Wolverine game. Xbox gamers like Wolverine, Xbox gamers like Spider-Man, and we'll never play that because of the pettiness, if you will.
Oh, no, you can. You just got to buy their system.
Yeah, exactly. And I gotta make sure my computer has an SSD, because the power of the SSD wouldn't be possible otherwise.
Oh, that's frightening. PCs don't have that, but oh wait, those games can be played on the PC.
That was my favorite part of that whole thing. The power of the PSSD 5. Biggest marketing crap I've ever heard in my life.
And I called them out day one, and people did not believe me.
Exactly.
And, oh, look, yeah.
But anyways, no, I understand that exclusives have existed. They existed when we were young. If your game was on Nintendo for a long time, it couldn't be on anything else. It couldn't be on Sega Genesis. It just was the way it was. And it's only gotten worse as games have gotten bigger. And, Xbox is out here. They're not going to go out with a whimper. Maybe if this was an Xbox, it was someone else, like, let's just go over Google Stadia. They went out of the market because they found out just how expensive it was to wrap up those exclusives, to get that content on their system. And they said so in the trial, right? So this FTC trial has been very opening for those of us that are interested in the gaming industry, because it's revealing a lot of what happens that we're not usually privileged to. A lot of the dirty laundry is coming out, and I love it. Love it.
I don't know. I ended up getting into a very heated argument with my husband over this topic.
Oh.
I think it was Friday. And I disagree with him, but at the same time, he made some good points. And people try to justify it, for the gaming stuff. And when you look at other industries, they're able to compete aggressively without having exclusivity. Look at the car market, for example. Everybody makes their version of the same vehicle. They all run the same, they all drive on the road, they all have the same features included within the vehicle, and right. So like, you don't need exclusivity to compete. We justify it for gaming because that's what we know, but it's an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
No other market out there really has to push it. Like entertainment pushes it, but like nobody else really has to push it. They compete within their market without exclusivity.
But the cars are different, especially like if we were in Europe or in Asia, you don't really need a car to get around. They have fantastic public transportation overseas.
You can look at it from
but on this side of the content of the
not just cars. You can look at it for anything, like
Disney
clothing,
Plus, Netflix.
clothing. Again, you're saying you're still staying within that entertainment thing. Like I said, entertainment gets away with it, but nobody else does it. Car manufacturers can't get away with that. Clothing, food industry. Like everybody. There's multiple people that can make a hot dog. There's no like you can only buy a hot dog here. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like nobody else.
But if you want a real New York hot dog, guess where it's exclusively at?
You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, people give entertainment the pass, and we justify it, and it allows them to be, it allows them to act badly. Because we will sit there and continue to try to justify it, and that's wrong. Again, no other industry does this. It's just entertainment that does this crap.
That's right. Only entertainment, only in video games where you get people playing games with your heart. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Splendiferous says, yo, good morning, my friends. At the movies with the family. Have a great show. Thank you so much for stopping by, Splendiferous. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. Back from the Dead joins us. Shout out to Back from the Dead. Thank you so much for being here. You are also the real MVP. He says, good morning, everyone. And let's see what else we got going on here on the... Everybody just saying hi, which is great. I love my people here. Let's see. But why is it cool for Sony to have exclusives? But it's petty if Xbox has exclusive. It's petty all the way around.
Agreed. I don't think anybody should have exclusives. You should just do better at making your hardware better, so people want to buy your hardware over the other person's hardware.
Yeah. And Stubbs Gaming says the UK has terrible public transport. Where did you get this from? Come to US. You'll learn to appreciate it. Come to America. We'll show you what public transportation means here.
Yeah, Europe has better transportation than we do here.
Way better. Way better. And Back from the Dead says Chicago style hot dogs and pizza are better. I'm going to give it to the hot dogs, but I'm going to stay with the pizza on New York.
If you want a pizza taco, that's then you go to New York where you can fold it.
That's right.
If you want a real meal for a pizza, you go to Chicago.
Oh my God,
right. The cook has spoken, guys.
It's just a floppy thing of grease is all that New York stuff is. It's so greasy. Man. I can't. It's like it's like like when it makes me think of think of like male athletes, and they always like whip themselves with like a wet towel. Like that's what I think of a New York pizza is a greasy like wet towel that you can just slap someone with. It's disgusting. No thanks.
How dare you? How dare you?
Some New Yorker is gonna be near like all offended.
That's a visual I didn't need to know.
It's just this flimsy and wet. It's a freaking wet towel. It's just gross, man. I can't.
Oh man.
How could you say such a thing, Terry? The pizza, the New York pizza is the best.
I know I was poking the bear with saying that it's a taco, but
but Terry just went,
woo!
First off, I want to tune in to one of the greatest pizza entrance scenes of all time, right? And that is none other than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. And why are they? They're not in Chicago eating a Chicago pizza. All right.
But Domino's had the sponsorship for this movie. Though.
Pizza Hut had the sponsorship.
Was it Pizza Hut? I thought it was Domino's.
It was Pizza Hut.
You sure?
Yeah. Don't test me on my Ninja Turtles here.
I thought it was Domino's.
That doesn't look like a Pizza Hut pizza.
No, I remember they had this scene with the guys.
You ever have white wine with pizza? You know where you can get white wine with pizza? New York. That's right.
I've never seen a happy taxi driver.
Big old pizza slices, and I remember Pizza Hut releasing this.
They're in New York, but none of these guys are eating pizza like a New Yorker. They're supposed to fold it in half, and none of them are doing that.
Look at this, eating pizza with the criminals.
None of these people are New Yorkers.
Look how pizza brings everybody together. It brings forward peace. New York pizza has brought forward peace. Oh my gosh, it's frozen. I shouldn't have touched it.
All right, they're not eating it like a true New Yorker. So it's all fake. It's all fake.
How dare you call these police officers not? What does that say? That says New York police right there. bringing people together. Together.
They're not folding that pizza, man. They're not New Yorkers.
They're not New Yorkers. So funny.
Saying they're from Indiana or something?
Probably.
Forget about it, Terry. You just don't know pizza.
I know New Yorkers are real big about, they're big about their pizza because of the water, and they're big about their pizza because they fold it. And none of those people were folding that pizza, man. They're not representing New York.
All right, hold on. I gotta ask the chat. I gotta ask the chat now. What? Hold on. I'm gonna make a poll. What is better? Which pizza is better? Here we go. Which pizza is better? New York pizza, which is pizza, or Chicago pizza, which is like a massive breadstick with a ton of sauce on it.
You're not even describing it right.
That is what Chicago pizza is. Okay, it's thick pan baked pizza with the bread that's this thick, like this much toppings and like this much sauce.
No.
That's what
not
the
even
Chicago pizza is. It sucks.
Have you've never actually eaten a real Chicago pizza, so you can't even say it. You don't even know.
You know why I haven't eaten real Chicago pizza? Because it's not famous. That's why. You don't want to have
it. It's famous.
It is famous.
It is famous. Everybody knows
that
that if
from
you
the
want
dead
deep,
is about to reach to that microphone and strangle you.
Everyone knows if you want real deep dish, you go to Chicago. If you want real cheesesteak, you go to Philly. And if you want greasy, flippy, floppy pizza, you go to New York.
Look here. If you want a pizza bowl, you go to Chicago, okay?
No, it's a pie.
If you want pizza soup, if you want to know what pizza soup is, you go to Chicago.
No, you want a pizza soup, go where Axel's at. They don't even know how to make pizza at all. They
Yeah,
know how to make
we are all about barbecue here. We don't try to get in on pizza.
That's a different story.
Barbecue.
That's why when I come visit you, that's what we're going for.
Barbecue? Let's go.
Barbecue. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Barbecue, baby.
We're going to get that brisket. We're going to get that pork. We're going to even try out some chicken. Whatever.
My wife and I just did barbecue yesterday, and oh my god, it was so good. We went to this new place. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Really good. I had something called Frontier Fries. Oh, amazing. Anyways, getting hungry here just talking about it. You know what doesn't make me hungry? Chicago pizza doesn't make me hungry.
You want to hear something funny, though? When I went to the Amico Fest, and I know this doesn't have to do with Xbox, but I went to this place called Chickies and Pete's, something like that. Chickies and that was the first place, and it was inside the airport, so they had their own little establishment. That was my first official Philly cheesesteak.
Really?
They actually liked, like 2 years later, they liked and followed me because of that little short that I put out there on TikTok.
That's great. That's awesome.
Just out of the blue, it was like, what? When did this happen? And it was only a couple days ago. So go figure. But you never know. Maggiano's, Giordano's,
yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let me see if I can download this image.
Frozen pizza.
Hold on. Okay, good. I can't download this. So let me call this one pizza. No, because every now and again it wants to download the web page, and I don't want that. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen here. Present, share screen. This is the great pizza debate, everybody. Only here on the Iconic Video Games channel on Good Morning Xbox. There you go, Chicago. Look at that soup.
Oh, look at that's not soup. New York. That's some stretchy cheese, man. Oh, look at that. It looks so good. Versus, what is that? A margarita? A margarita?
Unbelievable.
What's that called?
Let's catch up with the chat.
Margaret?
Let's catch up with the chat for a minute. We got a lot of chat to catch up with. Happy Cloud Gamer says, I don't have a car payment anymore. I don't need it here in Norway. Still 90% use a car still. Next month's bus will be free in my city. Yeah, exactly. John 907 says, extra relish. I lived in Chicago and there was no buses, but they have a subway. You know? Let's see. And Stubb says he's never been to the U.S. and that's why he doesn't know. Oh, trust me, you don't know what good transportation is. Americans don't know what it is. First Lander, Mr. Ford, and now New York Pizza. Wow. Yes, Chill Walker, thank you. How dare you? How dare you go against this amazing looking New York pizza?
Look, As someone who grew up in Wisconsin and I lived in Chicagoland for 7 years, I want to bathe in cheese. So deep dish. All right.
See that Harrison Ford thing? Now you just redeemed yourself.
Jesse Darby says Italy is the real pizza. Fastback mustard on pizza, Brooklyn style for lemon.
Yeah, no, I'll pass on that.
Mustard and lemon? That is weird. I have
no,
lemon Chicago deep dish pizza. You can't fold it because it's soup. Look at this.
Soup.
They put the sauce on top. It is a backward. This is an upside down pizza. Is what that is.
No.
Trust me, it helps with the consistency. Having the cheese on the bottom makes your crust soggy.
The crust is soggy because it's
sauce.
this thick. It's soaking up all the grease.
Having the sauce on the bottom makes your crust soggy. So it's better to have.
I guarantee you, Chicago pizza is the only pizza you can eat with a spoon. People get mad at people for eating pizza with a fork. Well, you can eat Chicago pizza with a spoon. That's all I got to say.
You can eat it by hand. Clowns and I have been to a couple places down here that
you can definitely eat it by hand.
You can pick it up and eat it by hand.
Let's see. I'm with Terry. New York pizza has always been, every time I try it, a disgusting, greasy, flavorless mess. Dang, Diego Coogan. By the way, shout out to Diego Coogan.
It's the wet towel of pizza.
We appreciate you. We appreciate it. And as that dealer said, you're nasty, Diego. You're nasty. All right, let's see. In Italy, they don't use a lot of sauce. They use meat and cheese. Most Italians will tell red sauce is more pasta than the white sauce. Yeah, but we're not talking about Italy. We're talking about Chicago versus New York. We all know that Italy's the real pizza. We all know that. There's no question on that. And RWK is a man of the people. He is a man of culture. He says Chicago pizza, thumbs down.
RWK, I'm going to kick you. Don't make me angry.
I'll let Dreadpool read this one.
Yes, Chicago deep dish is famous. I actually like deep dish, especially when you get this real deep dish with the sauce on top and all the toppings and shiznit and the bottom with cheese. Excuse my French.
There you go. So I couldn't read that, Jesse Darby. There was no way I was going to say something so positive out of my own mouth about Chicago pizza. Because everything you just said there sounds backwards and tastes terrible. Actually, it tastes good, but I still.
You can't have an opinion. You've never even tried, actual.
I've been in Chicago many a times.
You've had the.
And you know what I like to eat at Chicago? Not pizza, because it sucks.
Oh man.
And well, then you don't know. My wife.
You don't know.
You had to be going to Chicago, and now you trying deep dish is not the same as having deep dish. You still have to have it.
Let's go with the RWK88. He says, XO1324, are you in Texas or the Carolinas? I'm in Texas. Good old Texas. Yeah. Let's see. Need me 2 New York hot dogs with the works and extra relish. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Man, this topic got crazy. Lots of chat engagement. I know how to cook. I can make a Philly just as good as Philly or a pizza. Just as good as the one you have in those places that make them. Whoa.
You know what's funny,
arrogant there, Jesse Darby. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the funny part, right? Based on what he's saying, we have New Yorkers down here that import the water from New York. I don't know how, but
it's all about the water.
Everything is imported. The water,
yes,
the cheese, the dough, all this stuff is imported. The flour, all of it is imported, and it's still not considered. Even though it's a New Yorker making it, it's still not considered New York pizza in Florida.
It has to have New York water for sure. Like
even
New
with
York,
the water.
It is a fact. New York has the cleanest, best water. That's why major restaurants across the world pay to import New York water to make their food because hands down, New York has the best water. It's a proven fact. So I get why they get very territorial about their stuff because, the water, I get it. But I'm sorry, it's a greasy ass pizza. I'm not eating it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but even importing the water, they don't consider it. Everything is imported. Even the person making the pizza is imported.
That's right.
It's not
because you don't know real New York pizza until you've made it in New York.
Yeah. So
I wish I could talk like a New Yorker. Some coffee. Yeah. Hey, baby, can I have some coffee?
I can't say water like they do, but then it's like
some water. Water. We need a New Yorker on the show just to hear him say some of these Xbox titles. That'd be great. Let's see. Tostino's pizza is fire. Hey.
Tostinos.
So it's so funny because as a child, I grew up on Tostino's pizzas because it was cheap, right? And so as an adult, my taste buds are accustomed to it. I gave my wife Tostino's pizza. She's like, "That is the grossest thing I've ever put in my mouth."
Again, here's another one. I would buy a whole stack of those things, and when my friends came over, and this was in the 90s, my friends would come over.
90s.
What I do is I cook with my oven. I cook water inside there, so that way it's more of a baker's oven.
Yeah.
So I'll put a cup of water in there. I'll put the Tostitos in there, and I'll put some actual cheese on top of it. And people are like, "This is totally different. This is so much better." And I'm like, "It's the same thing. Just added some cheese." But the water also helps with the cooking of the crust. So yeah,
so some water.
You got to fix certain things to make them better, even though they're crappy. But
and Boomer has lost his mind, saying pineapple pizza is best. What the heck?
We're not going into that argument.
I thought you liked my pizza. I do like your pizza. If pizza doesn't have jalapenos and pineapple on it, hashtag pass. Shout out to Brandon Foltz. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Korede Ogunremi says pizza. That's right. That's right. What the heck, Jago Coogan? You're nasty. I've had frozen pizza better than New York pizza many times. Wow.
He's like, I'll take my DiGiorno.
Stubbs Gaming, I don't comment on pizza. I live in England. Hey, Italy's right there. Let's see. Sweden has the wild pizza. Blech. Pizza with curry, peanut, and béarnaise sauce. What the heck is béarnaise sauce? Glad I'm a Norwegian and not from Sweden. Let's see. I lived in Hoover Park and Glen Ellen for I don't know where that is. All right, let's see. Xbox for life and pizza.
Hanover,
that's right.
Hanover. He's talking about Chicago areas.
Big Ol' Bites pizza. Yeah, Big Ol' Bites. I remember those.
Yeah, pizza on a bagel.
It really depends whether you like thin or thick crust. Thin for me. Yeah, exactly. I like the thin crust. Exactly. I want to eat pizza. I want to taste the toppings. I want to taste everything. I don't want to chew forever because the bread is this thick.
So you like Sicilian or Napoleon?
He gets it. My husband is annoying. My own life is turning against me. What the heck?
He's on my side. That's what it is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Axel.
Never taking my wife to New York. Apparently, gonna have to take her to Chicago, to crime-ridden Chicago, to eat pizza with a spoon.
She wants to bathe in her cheese. Okay.
So, do you like Sicilian or do you like Napoleon?
I like both, but I gotta tell you, no, Napoleon is probably better for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it actually has an end crust, and I don't know. I have to have an end crust. Let's see. Deep pan pineapple ham pizza. What the heck? There's no Pizza Hut here. I love the pizza debate. Where's Cerebral Paul when you need him?
He's looking for those pineapples.
Everybody screams for pizza. That's right.
Yes, it's true.
Let's see. Italy is the one country Domino's Pizza came and left. Yeah, they can't compete there. Let's see. Jacob Coogan, welcome to Good Morning Pizza. I mean Xbox.
We got side railed.
Yeah, we are way off the rails.
All right, you know what? Oh my gosh, the chat. There's so much chat, guys. I can't read it all. My wife says she will choose New York pizza too. That's right. That's why I married her. I knew she had common sense and that she didn't want to eat pizza with a spoon.
No, come on.
Don't eat it with a spoon.
You gotta choose the cheese, not the grease. Choose the cheese.
Terry, how does the chat feel about pizza?
61% Chicago, 38% New York. Ha! You lost.
60% of this chat is lost.
They're pro cheese.
New York pizza is the best.
Not wet towel. All right, pro cheese, not wet towel. They get it.
Death Dealer says pineapple belongs on a tree. And shout out to 108 Dragons TV. Lemon, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Oh my God.
I don't even know how we got here.
How did we get into pizza? It was so. Anyways,
because you showed Ninja Turtles, and then it went down.
because you were talking smack about New
But
York
it was
pizza.
before that.
It was before that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how we got on pizza.
We're talking about exclusive games.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. We were saying how it doesn't matter how some people can like this and like, oh yeah, just like pizza. And I was like, no, New York pizza is better. That's right.
It's his fault. He started it.
All right, getting back onto gaming, guys. Guess what time? Yeah, we definitely went down the rabbit hole. It was fun though. It was entertaining. All right, but guess what time it is? It is time for Terry's Indie Spotlight. So let's get to it.
Everybody, it is time for the Indie Spotlight, and I got a great one for you guys once again this week. And for those of you who are fans of games like Inside, Limbo, Little Nightmares, this one's for you. So enjoy.
Whoa, that got loud. Is this two brothers? This looks like two brothers.
All right, Bramble the Mountain King.
Wow.
All right, you guys. So this game right now, okay, this game is amazing. It's got, oh my gosh, the environments. You go from like this beautiful environment to really dark, disturbing environments, and it's a trip. All right, and you're gonna be in for a great ride. It's a great game, and the whole thing is based on Nordic fables. So if you're someone from Scandinavia, this will be an extra special treat for you because you'll understand more of the references with the different folklore with the different creatures. They do kind of get a couple things kind of mixed up a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty well done. So you're going to enjoy this. The whole point of it is you're trying to rescue your sister, and, there's a lot of really big bosses in this game. Really creepy, dark characters based on Nordic, like I said, Nordic fables. So stuff out. It's got an amazing soundtrack. A lot of puzzles. So if you like puzzles, it's got puzzles in it. And this is a $30 game available on Xbox, PC, Switch, PlayStation, everywhere you want to get it. It will be on Game Pass this Tuesday. So go ahead and add it to your list and download it Tuesday on Game Pass and enjoy it. This is about a 4 to 6 hour game. So this is one that if you just want to, have something that you can enjoy for maybe you only have a short time to play a game. This is one where you can, get through it start to finish and not have to worry about putting over 500 hours in like Starfield. So go ahead and enjoy yourselves.
All right. Another fantastic spotlight. I'm not going to lie. That looked awesome. I'm going to have to get that one. It is on my...
The big set fall was pretty cool.
Yeah, that looked amazing. Another great showing by CoolCatTerri. But guys, it's time for the main event here, and that is enter Yakuza style Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, a subsidiary of the Microsoft Corporation, got to take the stand at the FTC trial, and we are going to talk about some of the quotes that he gave here. So let me put as, no, I don't like that. Here we go, because we're going to be reading. So yeah, and yeah, Brambles does look great. Bramble does look great. I love it. So here we go. We're just going to scroll through some slides, and shout out to Tom Warren again from The Verge for providing these slides. So these are all from his Twitter feed. So credit where credit's due, and I did not remove any of his watermarks, so you guys can see the source, because I'm not one of those guys that steals other people's content. So here we go. Oh, I guess not. Be too zoomed in. Here we go. First quote from The Verge says, "As the console wars is a social construct with the community, I would never want to count our community out. They're big fans. If you look at our market share in the console space over the last 20 years, we are in third place." So this was a question about the console wars. And, they specifically used the term console wars, the FTC did. And Phil Spencer admitting essentially that, yeah, Xbox is in third place. And the rest of this quote isn't on here, but he's basically saying that this acquisition is in part because they are in third place. So what do you think about Xbox admitting what we already knew, that they're in third place, but now it's different when you hear it from the lead guys to say that we're losing? What do you think?
You go first.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like I don't think he sees it as that they're losing. All right, because I feel like they kind of have that mentality where they're just trying to make the best games they can and provide it everywhere. They're not really in a console war, and like you said, it's a social construct. The fans have created the console war. They're just trying to sell their products to as many people as possible and make a profit, and they're doing that. That's all that's the main goal, right? In a business is to sell your product and make profit, and they're doing it. So that's a win. All right. Every company wants to be, the top of the industry. I mean, I get that they would like to be able to, sell as much as Sony does, but at the same time, they're still profitable what they do. So I don't see him as admitting it as a loss. It's just more of like, we're in third place and we're okay with that. We're doing what we want to do, and we're making money, and we're selling games, and people are able to enjoy the experiences that they have to offer on their system. So, yay.
Yay. So to read the full quote here, you guys can't see this. He said, "We saw Microsoft argue that Xbox has lost the console wars and its rivals are positioned to continue to dominate, including by leveraging exclusive content. In a court filing, Microsoft said it had 16% share of the console sales in 2021 when you count the Switch, and 21% of the console install base. So the FTC asked, has Microsoft lost the console war on Friday?" And this was Phil Spencer's response. He said, "As the console wars is a social contract with the community, I would never want to count the community out. They're big fans. If you look at our market share over the last 20 plus years, we're in third place. We are behind Sony and Nintendo in console share globally." And this was brought up, I think this was brought up also about how that plays into Xbox's survival, and how being in third place is really hurting them on their survival. So with that new information here, DREADPOOL, take it away.
Well, they asked them if they're losing. They're not losing. They're in third place. They've already established we're not losing. It's just we're not where they want to be, and they want to be able to compete. So that's the thing, is they want to do something for the community to be able to compete. They don't want to sit there and just say last place and then bow out. They're not wanting to do that. They're just establishing where they're at in the market with all things considered. So again, it's a lot of this stuff is very articulated to not say certain things, and obviously media, the fanboys will alter the narrative, just as the FTC asking this question had a narrative to say that you've lost, and he's saying no, We're in third place. We haven't lost. We haven't given up.
Yeah, they are profitable.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how Lemon puts it here. Third place doesn't mean losing. That's right. They're not losing. They're just.
It's still a podium finish. All right.
That's right.
Podium finish. So.
You know who lost? Stadia.
Yeah.
I see. The only way you're losing is if you're not making a profit, and to the point where then you have to shut down. That's losing. All right. As long as you're profitable, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're making a profit. You're succeeding. You always want to strive to make as much as you can, and do better. But as long as you're making a profit, you're good.
Yeah. So and One Eyed Dragon says Stadia was losing and now they're gone. Yeah. And Red Monkey Butt. Shout out to Red Monkey Butt. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, "Have you seen so much attention on a loser?" That's right. Phil Spencer is not a loser. He's a winner. He's got the big W. So that's the first quote. Us being podcasters, we kind of, we don't consider ourselves console warrior. This channel and this content here exists because of the console wars, as it is the social construct, and we're part of that social construct. And yeah, we are big fans. I am a big fan, right, of Nintendo. I'm a big fan of Xbox, and I'm a fan of PlayStation, and I'm a big fan of MetaQuest. I love all my gaming experiences. I love that I'm alive during this time to experience this stuff. But I also don't want anybody to disappear. I saw Sega disappear from the console space, and it sucked. Gaming was not better because Sega disappeared. Gaming was not suddenly, this amazing place because Sega stopped making consoles. It just sucks, So I do want Xbox, even though somebody has to be in third place, right? Somebody has to be there. But I don't want them to disappear, and I definitely want them to be profitable and be viable and to do what they need to do to survive. And that's what I see this as. They're doing what they need to do to survive. And the fact that they got Big Daddy Microsoft backing them, even better. Even better. Oh my gosh, we got Jim Ryan in the chat says, "I didn't show up to court because my 2023 Auto A6 was being detailed." There you go. And shout out to Noof Nukem, boom, boom, kaboom. Noof Nukem in the room. Thank you so much. Noof Nukem, you are the real MVP. We appreciate you. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, we had a 3-year dead zone when Sega left the game. Yeah, I agree. One of your Dragons TV. And thank God Xbox came in to fill in that void. Thank God Xbox is here to fill in that void. So yeah. Let's move along to the next quote. He says, this was following this exact same quote. So for more context here, let me see. Let me see. Spencer was then questioned about an email exchange with Xbox CFO Tim Stewart, where Xbox chief described Sony's PlayStation platform as hostile to Xbox's survival. Spencer then admitted Xbox hasn't effectively competed with PlayStation. He says, "Every time we ship a game on PlayStation, Sony captures 30% of the revenue that we do on their platform, and then they use that money, among other revenue that they have, to do things to try to reduce Xbox's survival on the market. We tried to compete, but as I said, over the last 20 years, we have failed to do that effectively." So they have failed to do that effectively. Terry, Xbox shipping on PlayStation console, good for business, bad for business, because they're taking that money to get their exclusives, to keep Final Fantasy from Xbox.
I mean, it's definitely shady how Sony uses the revenue that they're making, but again, this just shows, the fact that they've been doing this, it shows good business for the whole argument for this trial, showing that, we have already, offered our titles over to PlayStation, and they've been able to profit off of our games already. It's good faith. So they've already created that precedent, which is good. So this is going to look good for them in the trial, versus if they were like how Sony is, where they pay people to keep stuff off of the competitors, and everything has to be exclusive. This, exclusive DLC, exclusive games, exclusive everything. I think he wouldn't be looking as good, in this trial. And people wouldn't believe him when he says that he wants to, keep Call of Duty, on PlayStation and things like that. But because, we have this good faith that, they've got Minecraft, still on PlayStation and, other first party titles. So like, this looks good. This looks good. I mean, the console where people see this is, not good because, everybody thinks everything has to be exclusive, but no, I think this is good, and this is going to help them win their arguments in the trial.
Yeah, I think the FTC has to show that they're trying to that the reason for this merger is to try to put Sony out of business, when in reality, Sony's trying to put Xbox out of business.
Yeah.
It's
like we share our stuff, they don't share their stuff. Know?
It's like being the bigger brother to the little brother. You always have to share all your crap with the younger sibling, but the younger sibling never had to share anything with you. It's a bunch of crap. I'm still salty about it. Okay, well, that's a different topic.
Someone's got some animosity here.
Let's see. Jim Ryan's in the chat. Jim Ryan, what do you got to say about using Xbox money to pay for exclusives? We'll see what Jim Ryan says in the chat. Yes, I know there's a parody account, but I love playing with it. Dreadpool, PlayStation using Xbox money, 30% of it, to put them out of business, the people that are making their games.
Yeah, it just shows the malevolence behind all this. The games are being shared out because they do want access to these games, and yet they turn around and pull it to lock them out, and which means that profit is no longer being shared across the board. So it's just funny how they want games on PlayStation, but they don't want the games on Xbox. Yeah. And yet, and this is the fanboys, it's only one-sided. And yet here's a company obviously being malevolent about this. And this is part of the deceptive practices that I talk about that PlayStation likes to pull. Yeah. Here we are, we're locking down these games for you and making them exclusive, but they're using revenue from other areas, and I mean that's a business deal. So you can't say that I'm not going to use this money against you because it's only 30%, but it's just money in a pot. So money in the pot gets collected no matter from what sources. It's just part of the revenue that they're getting is going against them. So you can't just say all that 30% is dedicated to pushing out Xbox. That's not really fair to say, but it is being put towards all, the pot collectively from the 30% here and everywhere else that they're getting from exclusives that they have is directed towards pulling away the market from Xbox to have any survivability. So it's hard to say. When you have a collective pot, you can't just say, oh, this only came from this and this is why we're doing that. They're doing it in general.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
But part of it is being funded.
Right. And, Sony has to do what they got to do to survive as well. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't do what they got to do.
Yeah.
Right. The market leader is not going to one day decide, you know what? I don't like being number one in video games anymore. Nobody's going to wake up to that announcement. So it is up to Xbox to compete, and this is the way they want to compete. Just like Nufdukim said here, he says Sony is not scared of Xbox exclusive. They're scared of how Microsoft has the money and tech to drive the business in new ways that are disruptive to how Sony does business. Yeah. Xbox has long is making the push towards cloud, towards mobile. They want to get it on this phone. They know that this is where the growth is, and they're trying to get there as quick as possible. And I think that might be one of the quotes we talk about. Yeah. Jim Ryan says it's different when we do exclusives. We don't buy big publishers. If you're broke, just say so, bro. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Jim Ryan. Just like having a chance. And yeah, this is very true. Microsoft had their chance, but passed on Spider-Man IP. Not my fault. That is very true. Very true. Yeah.
Well, their thought, I'm assuming their thought at the time was they weren't going to try to keep it locked down, and they assumed it was going to be multiplat, and they assumed wrong.
They assumed wrong. You were wrong. Terry Myerson, and who was that guy? Don Matrick. Yep, you're wrong. Terry says Sony would buy big publishers in a heartbeat if they had the capital. They just don't have that Microsoft money.
I was trying to abbreviate Microsoft, and I think I effed it up.
Yeah, that should be an S. Microsoft. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, no. And we've long said as Xbox fans that you are part of this big juggernaut. Be the juggernaut, and now they are, and they get driven to court because they're being the juggernaut. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I think the FTC is ridiculous, but let's move on. Anybody else have anything to say about the 30% going to fund putting Xbox using their own games against them, pulling that Uno reversal card on them?
Look at it this way, though. 70% that Xbox is getting came from PlayStation players. Think about that.
There you go.
So it just depends on which side of the fence you sit on and how you look at it. So, again, I like to play devil's advocate. And so if they didn't have that 30% there for them to take, they wouldn't get the 70% back.
Yeah. Sony is not done buying exclusives or studios. If anything, I expect them to double down if this deal goes through. I expect them to double down even if it doesn't. I think their acquisition budget was increased this year. If I remember reading right, somewhere I read a report that Sony's acquisition budget is bigger this year than last year. So yeah, I mean, this is just the name of the game right now. We're in a huge consolidation. It's just that Microsoft is aiming for Microsoft has the capital to aim for the skies, right? And that's just all that's happening.
Could you imagine just the internet blowing up when this goes through, and the very next thing Microsoft says, or Xbox or Phil, is Square Enix joining Xbox Game Studios?
Oh my
Could
God!
You imagine?
My God, it would break the internet. But more than Square Enix, I would like Sega or Capcom.
Well, yeah, but I mean, talk about a stab in the back.
Oh my God, it would be so. Sega, Capcom, or From Software. From Software has back-to-back Game of the Years right now, possibly a Game of the Decade in Elden Ring. So yeah, it's I don't know who's going to be next to announce. I don't know who PlayStation is going to announce next. Maybe Jim Ryan can let us know. If you want to leak anything, Jim Ryan, we would appreciate it to see who PlayStation's going for. Let's see. John 079 says Xbox about to dominate. Xbox is. It feels good to be an Xbox gamer. I haven't felt this good about being an Xbox gamer since the 360 days. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my One, and I had a good time with my One. But it hasn't felt this good. Like, yeah, the future is bright.
Better?
The future is bright.
Here's what would feel better. Bring back the Kinect.
Yes, please bring back the Kinect. Xbox on. Record that. Xbox, send DREADPOOL a message. New York pizza is better.
Block.
Jim Ryan leaks. We have the rights to the next 3 Final Fantasy games. I would believe it. I believe that leak 100%. You heard it here first on Good Morning Xbox. Final Fantasy, the next 3 Final Fantasies are going to be PlayStation exclusive. You guys heard it here. 100% believe that. Next quote says, when we heard that Starfield was potentially also going to end up skipping Xbox, we can't be in a position as a third place console where we fall further behind on our content ownership. So we had to secure content to remain viable in the business. Oh, this is the one I want to talk about. But I'll let Terry start us off.
Yeah, so I think we already touched on it earlier when they didn't, they missed it with Insomniac, so they didn't want to miss it again. So they they're they want to compete, but so they have to do what they can to make sure that they can still compete, because yeah, they're profitable, but I mean, both Sony and Microsoft have had their consoles on the chopping block before. And so it's a scary time. They don't want that to happen. So, and the Xbox One gen was that gen where it was like, this isn't looking too good. Even though they were still making a profit, they weren't doing good. And not compared to what they were hoping they would be doing compared to the 360. So I get that they got scared. They lost Insomniac as well as some other, games along the way. So yeah, I get it. They're happy with third. They want to do better, but they want to make sure that they don't completely fizzle out like Sega did. So they gotta make moves. Gotta make them moves. Stay in the game. So I get it.
Yeah, they definitely do. And more tidbits. This became because what's that game? Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. There we go. Deathloop were both snagged up by Sony to be exclusives, and Xbox had to, they heard that they were also trying to get Starfield to be exclusive, and that was said right before this quote. And so Xbox went in there, you know what? We're not just going to buy the exclusivity to this game, but all the future games. So DREADPOOL, Xbox had to make, at the time, what was the biggest acquisition at the time, moves to respond to Sony. What are your thoughts?
They had to do what they had to do. Again, they were going to be losing out. They're already in third place. You can't fall behind. I mean, even though you're in third place, you can drop down the market and eventually fall out of place in general, and something like that, how are you going to stay in business if you can't get gamers to come over? If all the high profile games were going to another competitor, how are you supposed to compete? They had to do what they had to do. And with them being presented the purchase of ZeniMax and Bethesda and all the other companies underneath, it was one of those things. They saw what happened with Insomniac Games. They saw what was going on, and they let that go. They didn't think that there would be an issue, and they underestimated Sony and PlayStation. They thought that they were in cahoots together versus the likes of Luna and Stadia. They're fighting Google, and they even said that they are not their competition. They are joined in forces against the new threats, and come to find out, they're getting stabbed in the back.
That's right.
Even Kenichiro Yoshida said that PlayStation is a niche market. So if it's a niche market, and it's like, okay, we're actually working with Sony and getting them on Azure servers, all of this, for even PlayStation employees were freaked out because we're working hand in hand with the enemy, right? They consider this the enemy when they had to have consultation rooms for the employees because of the shock. So when you look at that, you look at how this is a war internally. They were shocked, and the fact that they're going like this, and Xbox, we're stabbing them in the back. We're letting them think we're friends, and we're not. And granted, their companies are competitors, but yet they looked at a common enemy and thought they were working together. Not so. Yeah. And now they have to, obviously, speak softly and carry a big stick. Now they have to bring out that big stick and start swinging for the fences. They have to do this. And this is one of those things that led up to it. They were looking at potentially being left out of the market again with certain games. They had to do what they had to do, and I'm glad that the superiors above Xbox saw the light in the tunnel to say, okay, well, here's what we got to do, and those others followed through and said, okay, we'll give you the money.
Yeah.
Now they can compete.
There's one thing that I know from the history books since 1941 is don't trust. I think Dreadpool got it. Dark humor. Never trust them, man. They'll stab you in the back. It's when the competition is buying out exclusive after exclusive after exclusive after exclusive, and you're just either A, it doesn't get offered to you to counteroffer that buyout, or B, it's not in the budget for that year or anything like that. You just keep missing out on these experiences, and people are like, Xbox, where's the games? Where's the games? Where's the games? And finally, the first new universe in 25 years from a guy who has won Game of the Year every time he's involved with a game from a director standpoint, comes out, and you find out it might be skipping your console because the competition is aiming for it. Well, you kind of got to do what you got to do to secure yourself. And I'm glad they did. Starfield is an important game. Xbox is treating it as important. How much was the Bethesda acquisition? Anybody remember? Bethesda
7.9
price, or something like 9 billion, 7.5 billion.
7.5. I was close.
7.5. Yeah, 7.5 billion. So $7.5 billion. You secured not only Starfield, but you secured everything else. You secured Indiana Jones. You secured what else do we know is coming out from Bethesda? We secured Hi-Fi Rush. We secured all kinds of stuff with it exclusively for your console, for your market. So I understand why Xbox had to do it. It was to remain viable, right? And they needed to do something because we were all saying it. All of us here, we're all saying it, that they got to do something. They got to get some exclusives. Even though we don't agree with exclusives, the truth is, as long as Sony benefits from exclusives will continue to exist, right? I think the list of exclusives for Sony versus Xbox is still 10 times larger than Xbox, because a lot of Japanese developers are locked in to Sony. We use Square Enix as the big one because they are the big one. Final Fantasy is the biggest franchise that's not on Xbox, and Xbox has always had to pay to get titles to even show up on their console, because they I remember, I think Grand Theft Auto 4 or 4, they had to pay something like billions of dollars to bring Grand Theft Auto 4 back in the 360 days to Xbox. So I mean, Xbox, I guess, is just tired of losing out, and they're tired of being told no. So they're just like, they're not walking up to people anymore and asking how much for your game. They're asking you how much for your company. It's very Shark Tanky move. I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank, where they're like, I'll give you so and such for 100% of your company instead of, the 10% or whatever it is. Maybe Bethesda was asking $7 billion for Starfield, and Xbox is like, we'll give you $70 billion for Bethesda they were asking maybe $1 billion for Starfield, and Xbox was like, we'll give you $7.5 billion for Bethesda.
ZeniMax.
Huh?
ZeniMax.
Yeah, ZeniMax. And so it's just they had to do what they had to do because they were forced to do it. And whether it's good for business, bad for business, good for gamers, bad for gamers, only time will tell. Time is the ultimate teller of whether you made correct or bad decisions. But so far as Xbox gamers, it has been good for us. It has been good for us. And I do think that if Xbox buys a property, a publisher, an IP, a developer, yeah, they have all rights to whatever they have, and they shouldn't be forced to guarantee multi-plat on anything because nobody else is forced. None of the other big two, Nintendo and Sony, are not being forced by anybody to say, "Oh, can you guarantee that this is going to come to Xbox?" Nobody's saying that. Nobody from the government is saying that. I feel that Xbox is being treated unfairly because they are choosing to flex their wallet. And don't give me that crap that Sony has never taken something and made it exclusive. They've never done that. They have. Final Fantasy became a multi-plat, and now it's exclusive again. And I'm salty about it. Spider-Man used to be multi-plat. It's exclusive now, and I'm salty about it. What else? Stellar Blade was announced as a multi-plat and is exclusive now. So nobody's coming up to Sony and be like, "Oh, can you guarantee that Stellar Blade is going to be on everything?" Or "Can you guarantee that Spider-Man is going to be on everything?" I do feel that Xbox is being treated incredibly unfairly simply because they're choosing to compete the way Sony competes. And that makes me upset. That's where the full hypocrisy comes in of the industry, the hypocrisy of the media, the hypocrisy of the governing bodies, everybody. The hypocrisy of other gamers, even. Gamers, our fellow gamers on the opposite team, they feel that this is unfair, and it's like, dude, well, welcome to my world. I've felt that way since 2013. Just saying, I felt that way since 2013. Oh man, you're 10 years back. Like, have you seen that meme where it's like James Franco and he's turning that guy's like, "Oh, first time," with the noose on his neck. Have you guys seen that meme? That's exactly what these guys are experiencing. Like, as an Xbox gamer, I turn to the guys on the other aisle, and in my head, I think, I don't say it to them, right? Because I'm not a jerk. But in my head, I think, oh, first time, like first time feeling what a great exclusive not coming to your platform feels like. It's just, I agree with Terry. Nothing should be exclusive, but it is
part of business.
It is the type of business that the market leader wants to compete in. And so long as they're the market leader, they are defining the market terms. And that is just the way it is, right? They are exclusive. They're all about it because they're the market leader, because they can. And until A, they change, which they probably won't, or B, someone comes around and supplants them. Is that the right word, DREADPOOL? Supplants them and takes over the number one spot without exclusives, with showing that you can do this by giving it to everybody, such as Xbox is kind of trying to do. That's just the way the business is going to continue. Let's catch up with this chat. Sorry, I got a little salty on this. Sorry, guys. I got fired up on this one. And like I said, this is just the one that got to me because, Starfield, I'm really looking forward to Starfield, and I would not be looking forward to Starfield if it wasn't on Xbox. So even though I have a PlayStation 5, I know I would have to pay $70 for it. And I'm just glad I got to pay $400 for it instead for collector's edition. Because I only buy collector's editions for my preferred consoles, guys. Just putting it out there. It has nothing to do with anything else. Just, it's a preference. Nobody else's fault. All right. John 907I says, for sure, DREADPOOL, Xbox needed big exclusive games on the console. Now Starfield and Indiana Jones is just the start. Yeah, agreed. That Clockwork game is also big. I mean, Hellblade is also big. I mean, we are getting great games. I don't blame Phil. Sony started locking out Xbox for third parties, so that woke up the giant Microsoft vault. So publishers get bought. Yeah, I agree. If the FTC wins after lobbying for 10 years, deal for Sony in front of the judge, then there's no hope. Yeah, I agree with that too. And Sony is realizing that Xbox is not Sega, mainly because Big Daddy Microsoft. Yeah. I agree with that too, and thank God they're not.
What's funny
time
is
exclusivity is different than complete exclusivity. Maybe, but the marketing is not. The perception amongst regular Joes is not. The podcast community, the few thousand that listen to podcasts, the tens of thousands, is nothing compared to the millions and to the billions of gamers that don't know. They know the marketing, and they assume that the marketing means full exclusive. Let's see. I just learned that Starfield will not have a physical edition disc. As a physical collector, that sucks for me. But games are too big to fit on disc anymore. The disc media is just outdated, and digital downloads is really the way of the future. It's sad to say.
It's been on the PC market like that for years,
for decades.
Decades, yeah. So nothing new. It's bound to happen. Same thing with CDs. Same thing with movies. Everything's going that direction.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. John 909 says Xbox needed a game to compete with PlayStation at a console seller, which they have now with Starfield. I agree. I think Starfield is a huge console seller. I know Cherry is looking forward to Starfield so much she can hardly contain the beanie on her head. So, yeah. Let's see. Sony buying up plenty of Japanese exclusivity on big titles with smaller pubs. Skip Xbox altogether because they don't deal it viable. They don't think it's viable. Yeah.
I think he meant feel it's viable.
Feel, yeah, they don't feel. Yeah, and again, double standards, yeah. Yeah, look at the industry outcry over Rise of the Tomb Raider. It was nuts. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Everybody crucifies this Xbox for playing Sony's game. Right? That's the part that bothers me, is that everybody crucifies Xbox for playing Sony's game. This is the game they invented. You know, it's like one of those things like it's like Noof said earlier, you know, the bullying. It's okay if the bully does it, but you know, and the teachers and the administrators turn a blind eye to the bully picking on all these kids. But then that one kid comes back and punches him so hard he hospitalizes him. Suddenly it's bad. That kid is the aggressor. And they don't see that for months. That kid has tortured that bully or that poor kid, you know, and that's what Sony's done for years. They have tortured Microsoft. And now Microsoft is punching back and everybody's like, oh my God.
It's that bully / victim mentality.
Yeah.
You're the bully until someone comes back at you. Now you're the victim. But
yeah, and they come back hitting harder than you ever hit. But you know, that's 10 years. That's years of that's, you know, in the schoolyard, it's a full year of frustration venting out. Here, it's decades of frustration venting out. 20 years. So yeah. Remind me again, what's the top selling console this gen? The Nintendo Switch. That's right. I said it. It's the Switch.
Feel that burn.
The Switch.
That's right. It's the Switch.
Hold on. Burn!
Take that, Jim Ryan. It's the Nintendo Switch, yeah.
Pull my best Kelso.
Exclusive sale, and it's good Microsoft is starting to realize that, even though everyone whines about it and they get crap for it. Yeah, exclusives do sell. And that's, you know, exclusive sell consoles, folks. Yeah. Nintendo has proven that. Nukem exclusive sell consoles, just as Nintendo. Yeah. Nintendo has proven exclusive sales. PlayStation has proven exclusive sales. And shoot, if Halo was not exclusive to Xbox, Xbox would not even be a viable console these days. That exclusive created Xbox. So there's history that exclusive sell, even Xbox, even a brand new console, because, you know, Stadia didn't have that killer app. And because they didn't have that killer app, nobody bought it. Nobody bought into it. You know, what's the game? Half-Life Alyx was so big on the VR market that it sold VR headsets. Games sell consoles. Consoles don't sell games. Games sell consoles. It's the other way. And Phil Spencer I understand what he's trying to be, the nice guy and just be happy and all this stuff. But yeah, he has to understand that games sell consoles and you have to put them out there.
Well, you also don't play your cards. If you think about it, you don't show them. You know, so you have your innocent dough face out there, while in the meantime you're strategizing and figuring this out. And that was the whole thing with the One. When he came in power, he figured out how to fix the One and go from there and then move on to the next gen. Unfortunately, we're not using all the tools for it yet, but that's the whole point, was figuring out how do we pivot and make Xbox better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Starfield. I'm happy they bought Bethesda for Starfield, and I feel that they felt that they were forced to do it, and I agree. Because maybe they just wanted to go get the marketing rights for Starfield, and somebody must have leaked it. Well, Sony's trying to get it exclusively, and they're like, "What? Well, you know what? We're gonna buy your whole company." That's like a Batman move, like a Bruce Wayne move at the end of Batman v Superman. It's like, how'd you get the farm back from the bank? I bought the bank. Like I don't know if you guys remember that scene.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and shout out to Dan the Man Cunningham also here. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And Jim Ryan saying we have GTA 6 marketing rights in case you were wondering. Yeah, Sony has had Take-Two or Rockstar. There we go. Rockstar marketing rights for a while. You guys have Red Dead Redemption, which fantastic game in my opinion, game of the generation, last generation. And they're gonna have GTA 6 rights, and that's gonna be huge. It's just, yeah, I agree. You guys have it, and it's going to sell a lot of PlayStations.
Again,
GTA is
it's going to be deceptive practices.
That's
Exclusive only on PlayStation. Limited edition hat or horse saddle or something like that.
It's going to be GTA, man. It's going to be exclusive car, or I don't know, exclusive mission.
It's going to be exclusive shirt.
You know what? You remember, what was it? Vice City or San Andreas? I don't remember which one it was, where you had to work out to stay in shape, or else your guy got fat in the game. San Andreas, yeah. I can already hear it. It's like, get the exclusive workout Gold's Gym on PlayStation. If they did it like that, that would be so awesome. I'm not gonna lie, that would be so funny and awesome. Yeah. Parts of my deposition will be revealed next week. Don't get salty. Oh man.
Did you have to show up for that?
Will it be pre-recorded, Jim? That's right. Shout out to Jim Ryan here in the chat. This is the only podcast with Jim Ryan in it, guys. You're welcome. That is the only podcast I know of.
Jim, how do you like your shoe leather? Salty?
But this makes sense with Xbox. Todd Howard, Pete Hines have a relationship with Phil and Xbox. Same with Insomniac and PlayStation.
No,
some acquisitions just make sense. We've long said that PlayStation might as well buy Square Enix because they basically own all their games anyway. Some acquisitions just make sense. Anyways, let's move on to the next slide, shall we, guys and girls? Let's see. Last slide. Oh yeah, this is about the acquisition. So the FTC was trying to say that basically Xbox was throwing $7 billion away by acquiring Activision Blizzard. Because all of their IPs are, all of their IPs are going to be multi-plat, then you're just throwing $70 billion away because all their IPs are already multi-plat now anyway, right?
Why do they care what someone else does with their money? Yeah,
like they're just arguing that you don't need to acquire Activision because other stuff is multi-plat anyway. So you're just throwing $70 billion in the trash. And Phil comes back with like, no, when you acquire something, it's not a payment. It's like when you buy a house. You're buying an asset that has value, so it's really a transfer of cash into an asset called Activision that you believe retains the value that you acquired. So to try and characterize the $70 billion somehow spent is incorrect. Financially, it's really moving $70 billion in cash into an asset, which is a game publisher that to us is actually worth more than $70 billion. So it is not spent. So I thought this was hysterical that Phil Spencer had to teach the FTC, who is supposed to specialize on mergers. That's all they do, on how mergers work.
How were they saying 70 billion and not 7?
70, yeah, the 70. Because the Activision Blizzard deal is 70. But there's the deal, the ZeniMax deal was 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the $70 billion, and this was just funny that he had to explain it to them that it's just transferring an asset, and that Activision Blizzard is worth more than $70 billion to them. I wonder what they know that nobody else knows that hasn't been made public. What makes it worth more than 70? Because if you recall, 70 billion was over at the time when this started over a year ago, was more than their share price was. I think they're buying it at $86 a share. And at the time, their shares were like at 60 something dollars. a share. So they saw something, they know something. But Terry, do you agree? When you bought your house, did you spend, I don't know, $200,000, and is that money thrown away?
It feels like it's thrown away.
I mean your house, not your BMW. Oh,
no.
cha.
I mean, technically, even though it feels like that money's gone, technically it's not, because we already made money. Like the house already went up in value the moment we bought it. It was fun. But I was like, we haven't even had it for a year, and I think it was like 30. I think it went up another 30 grand in value in 1 year since we bought it. So like that's good, you know. But so no, I agree with his analogy on how he's explaining it, because yes, I mean, you know, he's getting it now, and you know, being that they're going to be in talks to purchase it, they already would be able to find out what other stuff they already had planned that is in public knowledge, so they kind of know what they're kind of getting into. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's an investment. You know, you buy it for this price, and you work on more projects to increase their value over time. You know, so as long as they keep producing quality content that is going, they're going to increase in value. You know. So yeah, I get it. It's good. It's a good way of explaining it, and I don't know why he had to explain it to the FTC on how investments work, but you know, but yeah, no, I think this is all good. This is all good.
It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. DREADPOOL, what do you have to say about Phil Spencer taking the FTC to school?
It's just funny how FTC is playing dumb when you look at it, because us as, let's call us the peasants, right?
Console peasants.
We go to school, and when you buy a house, you're making payments, right? You're making payments. You don't think of it as transferring your money into asset. You don't think of it like that. When you're in a bigger level of business, you think of assets. You're not thinking of money in a way of payments. You know, so when you take your equity of your house, you can turn around and you can borrow from that equity to do another business venture or buy another house and use that. Yeah. So there's so much going on there. We always, because I was thinking the same way when I was younger. You know, you make a payment to the house. You don't think about the equity. I bought my house over 10 years ago. And from the time I bought the house to now, I've almost quadrupled the equity of the value of the house.
Wow.
Okay. I'm still making my mortgage payments to the bank, but you look at the value, this is the same situation here. You're just transferring your money. They're just not borrowing from the bank like we all do, right?
Right.
Because when you buy, you're just transferring the cash for the equity of the house. And then when the value goes up, there you go. For us petty little peasants, you have to borrow money from the bank. They don't have to do that. That's why it's, when we think of it as payments, we're paying the bank for something that we don't officially outright own. But they're paying for it outright. So it's not a payment. It's a transfer of value for value, right? And then when the value goes up, and that's why they said there's more worth there. Candy Crush, within the month, basically paid off the $70 billion that they would have paid for. That's you're talking about investments. When it comes to that, the asset is equity that will be returning back to them. So you're looking at this, and if Candy Crush alone is making this, think about Call of Duty. Call of Duty is only $60 to $70. Now it's $70, right? So that's all it was for the initial game. But guess what? They're microtransactions. Again, 3 months of microtransactions more than pays off this $70 billion.
Yeah.
Again, there's different things in there. So it's not just one game, and that's what Sony was pushing was, right? The one game was Call of Duty, but they weren't looking at that. They're looking at how do we get into mobile gaming? Call of Duty Mobile also within a month and a half to 2 months, if I recall, paid off the $70 billion. Again, when you look at it, that's 3 different games that have more than paid off for this. And if you look at it collectively, what, less than a week or less than 2 weeks, they've made this money back.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it doesn't make sense. They're using it to they were manipulating the conversation with payments.
Yeah.
That you're making a payment here. No, there's no payments. They're not borrowing money from anything. It says transfer of value. And they're placing the value at this number, knowing that it's going to be worth more later on and go up for them. So that market of gamers on cell phones and mobile, just mobile market in general, that value will definitely increase because they can start bringing more games to those other areas. And now that they'll have another revenue stream, it's all about diversification. It's not just one thing. The people forget that. What do they say here on YouTube all the time? Diversify your income. You can't expect YouTube to be your only money source. If you go all in, this isn't it. Mm-hmm. There will be pitfalls, certain times of the season, certain podcasts, certain YouTube videos will do better than the others because of this. It's a seasonal thing, so again, it's diversification. There is value here because they can diversify what is out there. You have WoW, you have the smaller indie games that they deal with. Or not indie games, but smaller indie style games that they deal with. They have bigger games. You're talking about Diablo, one of the biggest games that they have.
Yeah.
And there's 3 companies under one umbrella there that they're obtaining with multiple IPs. So it's more than just this. So it's not money spent. It's money that they have invested in.
Right. Yeah. Well said, DREADPOOL. Let's see. Jim Ryan says Microsoft will never own COD. Shout out to RWK88 who steps out. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Jesse Darby says it's what they make from Candy Crush and the other mobile games that they have. So basically, it's King. Oh yeah, Jesse, King will more than make up for it. And yeah, Phil Spencer even said so. So this is not on the sheet. Oh, let me see. I think I can throw it on there. Let me see. Can you guys see this? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so FTC, if Microsoft is going to grow, particularly in a business model like console, it can grow by taking share from its competitors, right? And Spencer says, there is no console growth in our Activision deal model. FTC, do you have any intention of this deal helping you climb out of the number 3 spot? In console, we do not. FTC, so that's just a write-off. How is this a write-off? How is this a write-off? But basically, Phil Spencer said earlier, he said that the deal, as we talked about, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Can you guys see that now?
Yes.
I feel like it's really tiny. There you go. The deal, as we talked about, expands our business to the mobile platform. The existing business that we run today as the third place console business is a very difficult business to drive profit and margin. So the opportunity for us to expand in a meaningful way onto mobile, the world's largest gaming platform, was really both a strategic and business opportunity behind this deal. So again, when you say that, oh, Activision Blizzard is worth more than $70 billion to us, what they're saying is that experience they have on mobile. They've done, King has Candy Crush on mobile. They have Call of Duty on mobile. They have Diablo Immortal on mobile. They have that experience of bringing AAA IPs to mobile and making money off it. Like, I think Diablo Immortal made something like $4 billion in a month. So, I mean, it's up there, guys. It's up there. And so that's why this is worth more than $70 billion to them, because they're going to use that King to bring, I don't know, Halo to mobile, Gears of War to mobile. They tried with Gears Pop and that didn't work out. They're going to bring, who knows, Forza Horizon to mobile. I'm just talking the big 3, Forza, Halo, Gears, Forza. And that's why this deal is worth more than $70 billion to them. Like, because part of purchasing your house, DREADPOOL, correct me if I'm wrong, and Terry, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're not going to buy a house that's in the rut that you can't see yourself gaining from, whatever that gain is, whether you gain a better neighborhood, a better school for your kids, whether you want to gain a lot of property out in the county, something, you gain something, right? You don't just buy the house for what it is. You also buy for the house for what you dream it could be in the future, right?
You're looking at
unless as a personal buyer, yes. If you're an investor, you just snatch up property. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, but I'm talking as as a personal buyer. You buy a house for what it could be.
Yes, you typically, most people buy starter homes, so that way they can eventually get out of that home and into a better home, because that's the only way they're going to be able to get to that, unless they can get a good cash flow to get those better houses. So most starter homes are usually small little fixer-uppers, something that they can get by with, so they're able to save money and, again, build up that equity in the house that they can turn around and use that for the next bigger purchase, bigger and better.
The next down payment. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, when you sell your house, you got to move it into the next one. Or again, if when you triple or quadruple your money and you can pull it out, again, it's all risky investments when you do that, to pull your equity out and use it for a down payment into another house for renters and this and that. And you never know. When you do this, it's a risky investment, but most of the time everything goes up. I have a friend that bought a house and then the market crashed. He's upside down.
Yeah.
He's finally starting to recuperate after all these years since the time that the market crashed. So again, it's a financial risk that you're taking that hopefully the equity will make up for the difference in the future. And then you can move on from there to bigger and better, or that's your permanent last place you want to stay.
Yeah. But that's just my point is that, Microsoft has a vision with Activision Blizzard King. They're not just going to buy them and say, all right, guys, good job. You put out the games you put out. We're moving on. They haven't done that with anybody. Obsidian, they have Avowed. They had the Outer Worlds, all that good stuff, right? Ninja Theory. I mean, you saw what they could do with $20 million. Now imagine what they can do with $200 million budget.
That's
right?
Reinvestment.
Yeah. The Compulsion Games. We were all down on Compulsion Games. All of us. And then it comes out South of Midnight. Looks amazing. Amazing, right? Who's that other game? The one that made Wasteland 3. In Exile. They made Wasteland 3, and it was a very good game, very smooth. People loved it. But now they're coming out with that Clockwork Revolution, and it looks even better. I mean, all of this is Xbox has a vision for these studios. They're not just gonna let them keep doing what they're doing. They're gonna take what they do and make it better, in my opinion. So this investment into it, I think, why it's worth more than $70 billion is because of that mobile play, that King play. They want to get into the growing market that is mobile. And, you'd be a fool if you don't think that Nintendo didn't look at it. I mean, we had Super Mario Run. I think we have a Mario Kart game on mobile. They're also in there. And, PlayStation is trying to get in there, I guess. I don't know what PlayStation has on mobile. That's first party. I don't think anything. But, Microsoft is trying to beat them to the punch. So, yeah, it's a smart move. I definitely think that this deal is going through. But shout out to Sir X-Man who joins us. Thank you so much, Sir X-Man. We appreciate you for joining us. You are the real MVP. Terry, we had a poll, and I kind of want you guys to answer the poll too. Terry, we had a poll.
Who do you think is winning so far? 89% say Microsoft. 5% say the FTC, and 5% said the gamers' lawsuit.
So 2 days into the FTC
Microsoft.
trial.
All the faith.
2 days into the FTC trial so far, do you think the FTC is going to get the injunction they are seeking?
I don't know. Like, I haven't been following him very closely, but the little bits that I've been getting, it really sounds like you could tell these guys do not know anything about the gaming industry. You know what I mean? It's like these guys are clearly just suits. They don't, and I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, oh no. we have to, the gaming industry is, its own beast. And, Phil Spencer's over here trying to explain how, how they do things and what his vision is so that they allow him to have this deal go through. And he has to talk to these guys like a bunch of kindergartners because they don't know jack squat about how gaming works.
Terry's so funny. All right. DREADPOOL, do you think the FTC is making a good case? Because all they have to do is put a seed of doubt in that judge that Microsoft will use this as a term of foreclosure to stifle competition.
Actually,
you're wrong. They won't get that?
You're wrong. They don't need to do that. All they have to do is put a seed of doubt that they have enough time to fight against it. So they have to prolong. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to prolong the case. If they prolong the case, then they can't shut it. They can't close the deal right away. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to close it right now before August. So that's why they want to push it back to August. So that's the problem, is they want to show that they are improperly ready for this, where Xbox is 100% ready.
So do you think X-Man brings up, FTC has hired the stupidest lawyers I've ever seen or heard. They would have done better hiring Matt Locke. But to bring your point, do you think that's why the FTC lawyers are asking stupid questions and being what we're calling them stupid, because we have more common sense in the gaming industry than they do right now? And we don't know jack. We're not insiders. We don't know jack anything other than we love this hobby.
Yeah, I think
do you think that's part of the strategy?
I think it's part of the strategy is the fact that they are trying to, like we just spoke about payments, they are trying to manipulate what's going on with the judge's verdict to say, hey, we need more time to prepare. There is more that, because they also said that they have more to announce later on. Well, why not announce it now? Because now if they announce it and the judge makes an actual verdict now, they lost. And that's the whole thing. They want to keep a seed of doubt there so they can prolong the case and come back and again fight the case. And if they prolong it long enough, then the investors could say, you know what? Let's forget about this deal. Let's back out, and we're not going with Microsoft. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stall the deal from actually happening. So that's part of the issue. They're not trying to close it out. They're not trying to fight it and close it 100% because they know that they will lose. They're betting on the fact that if they can stall it, then it'll just shut down on its own. Didn't think of that, did you?
Hold on. I'm making a poll real quick. This is just going to be a yes/no poll real quick. So, and this goes to you guys too. Cool Cat, we'll start with you. Very good point, DREADPOOL. If the FTC is successful in getting their injunction, it's going to push them past that date, the close date. They're going to owe Activision Blizzard $3 billion, and it opens up renegotiation. Activision Blizzard just launched Diablo. Their stock is trading at $80-something now. This $70 billion deal could turn into $100 billion with a renegotiation. Terry, do you think Microsoft will just pay the $3 billion and opt out if the FTC gets their injunction, or will they renegotiate and make this into a $100 billion deal? Possibly $100 billion.
I think they would renegotiate and just pay more because there's enough money being made within a lot of the IPs and stuff to where they would make it back. So I think if they had to spend more, I think they would, because they want this bad enough that I think they would spend more if they had to.
Right. So right now, their stock is trading at $82, roughly $64.39 billion. Now remember, Microsoft is buying bought at $86. So $20 over what was, this is good. Let's just keep this here. $20 over what was initially quoted. So let's just pretend they have to buy at $100 a share. And Activision Blizzard, what's their volume on stock? They have 6.74 million shares times 6.4 million. So right now, $640 billion for it. Or sorry, did I do my math right? 1,000 million. 6.74 million. Oh, it's plus stocks. Oh, it didn't show the full market. Sorry, guys. I got the wrong source. Embarrassing. Math isn't mathing. Anyways, it would be about $100 billion if they were to raise the stock price to $100. DREADPOOL, do you think they will drop it, or do you think they'll renegotiate?
No, there's still more value there. With it failing, the stocks could drop even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So they could still go for the same amount of money and just redo it all over again and just start over. It's hard to say. Activision could also piece out their IPs, their ABK. It could be 3 different companies, and Xbox can buy each one on their own terms. Mm-hmm. So there's many different facets that this can go if it fails. So it's hard to say, but right now it doesn't look like it's in FTC's favor at all. It looks like it's leaning towards Xbox's favor. The judge has already said that they want to go through this quickly. They don't want to prolong it, which I'm a fan of, because that's tax dollars that's coming out of our pocket. And I'm sorry, but for them to go after Microsoft and Xbox the way that they are going after American business in preference of a foreign company, if you look at it, isn't that kind of treason? That's what it's
turning into politically. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's treason. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make sense to do that. I understand that they have to have our interests, but it doesn't seem like they have our interest. They have a foreign company's interest, a foreign market.
Right. Yeah. That's what it looks like. And by the way, I redid my math. So at $100 per share, instead of the $80 per share, the Activision Blizzard has 786 million shares out there. So this $68 billion deal would turn into a $78 billion deal, roughly $80 billion. So yeah, there you go. I'm in the camp of, will they drop it for 10 bill more? Would they drop it? I think it depends. If the FTC gets their injunction, they would have to win against the CMA for them to continue. But if both FTC gets the injunction and the CMA, the CAT tribunal, doesn't work out for them favorably either, then I think they drop it. It's just too many hurdles to clear, I think. And they could invest that $68 billion into, as you said, other pieces. And I would love for Microsoft to go scorched earth and just snap up every third-party exclusive deal they can under the sun, but they won't know. But I don't think they're going to get the injunction, personally.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But you're also forgetting Microsoft could still sue the FTC, because this is a FTC
they could still close anyway and sue.
Yep.
Not in the UK, but here,
this
is America. You can sue anybody, including the president. That's right. Red Monkey Butt says the case won't be prolonged. It'll be over Thursday. Judge already said she wants this to move quickly. And actually, the arguments will be over Thursday. The ruling will be out Friday, I believe, is what they said, right, Dread?
Something along those lines. I wasn't really paying attention at that time.
I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. Terry, we had a poll. How did the chat feel?
Will Microsoft opt out of the Inquisition? 69% said no, and 30% said yes.
All right, let's see. And Sir X-Men says the FTC had a year and a half to get themselves together. There's no excuse. They are showing the world how incompetent the United States is right now. And I love my country, but dang.
And Xbox only had 4 weeks to get their stuff together.
You know, the FTC, the thing about the FTC is it's a government organization and they're dealing with hundreds of mergers probably daily. So a lot of those employees I know are overworked, are overtasked, and there's not enough hours in the day for them to get everything together. And that's just the way government agencies run. There's not enough. Never enough.
Never.
And never enough competence either.
That's,
because they hire their friends instead of hiring who they need. Let's see. The thing is, I think the judge is sick of the FTC's games, and she's got the evidence on her desk to prove it. We'll see. We'll see. And Jim Ryan would like to announce that they have a Spider-Man 2 PS5 bundle coming this holiday. Spread the word. What was that, Dreadpool?
It's the same judge from. Yeah, I was going to say it's the same judge from the players' lawsuit.
Oh man! Oh, she is probably tired of hearing about games. She's probably never going to allow a console on her premises ever.
So well versed, if you think about it.
Yeah, I think so. I think she's the one that threw it out, right? She threw the gamers lawsuit out.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyways, that was it. Phil Spencer took the stage, everybody, and this is what everybody. It's an event because when someone this big goes into court for the hobby you love, it's a big deal for those of us that are in this hobby, right? And we all listen to what he has to say because he's the one who's steering the Xbox ship. He's the captain of the Xbox ship. He's the CEO of Xbox Gaming. He's the head of Microsoft Gaming, and his only boss is Satya Nadella. So it is a big deal when he speaks. And of course, we had to cover it on the show. Sorry for those of you that have heard enough about the acquisition, but I think this is the juiciest part. And hey, we got some leaks out of it. So that's fun. Anybody got any last thoughts on the Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, a subsidiary of Microsoft Corporation testimony?
Nope.
All right. And with that just said, we are going to get out of here, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Good Morning Xbox. We wouldn't be able to have a show if it wasn't for you guys, the chat. And that's why you, the chat, will always be the MVP to any podcast on the Iconic Video Games channel, including this one, Good Morning Xbox. We are going to get out of here. I'm Axel1324.
I'm CoolCatTerri.
And I'm Dreadpool.
We'll catch you guys next week. Bye, everybody.